y'all have been wondering, where have we been? It is 2:24. And Tawana is my co-host, y'all. We were 20 minutes into the show and I realized we weren't even live. So I apologize. Listen, oh my Lord.
We read it for y'all. We broke it down. Ain't nobody listening but you and me, Kimmy.
I was like, where's the comments? Where's the viewership? I apologize, y'all. I got some ghetto stuff going on over here right now. My laptop is messed up. Y'all know the sound has been off. I figured it out. So I have my phone over here, my laptop over here. It's just a whole mess. So here we go. We are talking about We Failed Chantel Freeman Part 2. And from yesterday, we got to page 16 on a 56-page court document that Chantel Freeman provided for us. Now, what I want to say first is, if you have any children in the room, make sure you remove your child. We are going to discuss some sensitive topics today, and we do not want any children in the room. Let me go ahead and run this disclaimer, and then we're going to go ahead and get into it. So, fair use disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. So I'm going to, yeah, I'm losing my voice. I'm not really for sure why. I'm going to try to do my best to read these documents.
You got some tea? You got some tea, Kimmy?
Girl, I'm drinking coffee right here.
You're drinking it? Okay.
I'm drinking coffee.
Because your voice is sore, I'm gonna read most of it because
it's not even sore.
But I mean,
but go ahead.
It's scratchy, right? Not sore, but like
it's not even scratchy. It's just gone. It's just gone. It's just gone. But I do. Let's see if I can get it back.
Get you some tea and a lemon, and it's gonna be better. Wait, honey, you guys get some tea, lemon, and honey. Coat that throat.
But what I want to say is, for those of you all who are just coming in, who are followers, subscribers of Kimmy's World, I want to thank you, number one, for being here. Number two, I want you to stop what you are doing and to subscribe to Tawana G's YouTube page. I need you guys to help me get her to 1,000 subscribers, just like y'all helped me. The next thing I want to say is, where we left off on yesterday, we presented a lot of discrepancies that the Tasha K little 2-minute teaser had presented. And we also presented some other discrepancies that were presented in Clarence Freeman, the ex-wife, and the brother's statements that they made to Tasha K. Now, this particular document is from, let me get my notes. So, what we realized on yesterday is Clarence Freeman was arrested on April the 21st, 2003. Now, from the first part of the document, it stated that this was supposed to occur between February the 10th, 2002 through 4/21, 2003. Now, we also noted that the first time she had a physical examination was on, as far as with this, it goes all the way back to, it went all the way back to 2000. And what we realized was in September 2002, Chantel at that particular point had no sexually transmitted disease. And also at that particular point, no one had touched her, which goes to show There are some inconsistencies in Clarence Freeman's story, especially when he spoke about the uncle having sex with her, the cousin, and also the two brothers. So there was discrepancies from the court document and also medical documentation. So that's going to lead us up to part 2 today. Now, where we are today, we are on page 16 of a 56-page document. Um, what we also realized, July of 2003, she had a physical examination post the report that was made. She had a physical examination. It was determined then that Chantel Freeman had a sexually transmitted disease. Now, it was also determined through medical records that were subpoenaed from the jail when Clarence Freeman was in prison, and also from the hospital. Now, that was also determined that Clarence Freeman had a sexually transmitted disease as well, but both of their sexually transmitted diseases were different. I also want to let you guys know that the sexually transmitted disease Chantel Freeman had, you cannot contract this sexually transmitted disease unless you are in an active breakout. You cannot test for this disease unless you are in an active breakout. So during the time she had her physical examination, she was in an active breakout. And that leads us up to where we are now. I'm sure Tawana has some things to say. You're muted, Tawana. So where we are today is,
Sorry, I could not find the unmute button. I had so much
this is a
stuff
lot.
up on my
Y'all, this is a
screen.
lot.
It's a lot, y'all. I'm so sorry. This is what happens when you go live too, you know. Um, I will say this for anyone who's coming over from my channel, we really got started on this Chantel Freeman case after hearing Tasha K talk about the discrepancies and things that she had presented during her interviews with the family members, and it intrigued me to look more into it. So then since then I've watched the Breakbeat Media interview, which is the original interview for Chantel Freeman. So she talks about the essay allegations and what happened to her in her childhood. And so you kind of get to know more about her journey and what she experienced as a child and how she remembers it, right? And then we just started to really unfold this story because there was a lot of discrepancies in the Tasha K interviews that we heard, right? So now that we have this document, this live document, this police investigation, we are going to go through it and just kind of show you what happened back in 2003, right? Because we have actual testimony from the detective who investigated this case. And we know it was investigated because there's a receipt that indicates all of the investigation, what happened, how it was billed, and whatever. So we know that there was a full investigation done. And so we want to, just kind of go back and recant everything so you guys could see a lot of the things that we talked about. And Kimmy talked about the huge things, right? Because the discrepancy in the medical diagnosis, that's huge, right? So that's putting doubt in some people's heads, right? How is she diagnosed with something different from her father, right? Because at that time, they had both got, subpoenaed medical records for the father. The medical records indicated that he did have a STD, but not the one that Chantel had. So now the doubt in people's mind is, well, what happened there? Why is she diagnosed with something different? And then you see that DCF, Children Advocacy Center, and the detectives are all working on this in tandem together. So there's a partnership going on that we just need to kind of pay attention to. And that partnership is really what we're reading to expose kind of what happened in 2003 as opposed to what people are saying now. One of the allegations that I do want to bring to light was that in elementary school, it was stated that she was promiscuous and that she was having all of these sexual partners and doing all this stuff. But when you look at the testimony from the case manager on staff at the high school, I mean, at the elementary school she was at, she said that she had not had any problems with Chantel being overly sexual or promiscuous on school grounds. So that was
She was
totally refuted from the caseworker who was at the school. And she also referred the detective to speak to Chantel's teacher. According to her, Chantel was very just a quiet child and to herself. The teacher was unable to actually speak to the detective at that time. She was busy. And so the detective never went back to interview her in that first half, right? We don't know what happened after that. But just giving you a recount of some of the stuff that has been said so we can get into the new story so y'all can just know what's going on.
So I want to make reference to Just Me. Thanks for being here. Make sure you are subscribed to both of our channels. But she said, hello, but he can still have the STD. He may not have been tested during a breakout.
That's right.
And you are exactly right. That's
Mhm.
exactly what we were saying. And you're going to hear later on in this document some little key points that if you don't pay attention to, you will miss because I missed it the first time. And you are absolutely right.
Mhm.
um if you're not in a if you are not in an active breakout, you cannot pass it, but you can't detect it either.
Right.
So
That's the tricky thing about those two. They have to be active breakouts because they have to do a
then
biopsy.
then also I want to make reference to, because I really want everybody, if this is your first time watching this, I want you to go back to see part one, because part one is going to let you know that even though the detectives were dotting their I's and crossing their T's, they still had some missteps along the way, in
Mhm.
my opinion, because there was a notation in this particular file that stated once Chantel was diagnosed with what she had, she was supposed to see a pediatric gynecologist.
Mhm.
And instead of seeing a pediatric gynecologist, for those who don't know, those specialize in children. But instead of her seeing them, they passed over her medical records to a nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
And so the nurse practitioner, because initially they thought it was indeed another sexually, I almost said it.
Mhm. Mhm.
They thought it was another
The same
sexually
thing
transmitted
Clarence
disease.
have. They thought it was the exact same thing
Right,
and then realized it was something totally different.
right,
However, both have to be active in order to be tested. So,
right.
um, it like just said, and she's absolutely correct. He may still actually very well have it, even though he has denied that as well. I want to put that out there that he has denied completely that he does have that.
And he denied that to me as well,
Mhm,
because I asked. I
mhm.
inboxed him on Instagram, and I'm gonna share those messages
That's right.
in this particular video if we hurry up and get through. But yeah,
No,
I'm gonna share those
we're gonna
text
get through
messages
because
so
that's
y'all
the
can see
juicy
it.
stuff. That's the juicy
Huh?
stuff. I said we got to get through because that's the juicy stuff. They got to
Period.
see what Clarence said in those messages for
Mm-hmm.
sure. But
Right.
yes, let's and I'm gonna tell you, I think we read that one paragraph that I started off with yesterday. But we can
Okay.
go to that
We'll get
page.
to
I
it.
know for sure we're on that page. Um Now we're at a point where the detectives is trying to interview her brother. So he's talked
We
to the
are,
wife and they're in this process. He's trying to get the brother to come in so that he can interview the brother.
so we must
So
have been here.
yeah, so we're in that. Well, I can't see it. It's not on the screen, but I can kind of see it
Can you
right.
see it now?
It's not on the screen.
Oh shucks. Hold on a minute.
Add it.
Trying to stream on. Oh, here we go. Now you can see it.
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
go up. Yep, I can see it now.
Can you see it?
Hmm. So the detective is actively trying to get the brother to come in so that he can interview him. It appears that the wife now has custody of the kids, so she is the one who's transporting them to all these interviews and to, see the specialists and do all these things. So, um, please, this is kind of where we're at. So you'll see a lot of it is redacted. And so it's going to be a lot of blank said this and that, but that, we don't, that's just what happened. They removed that information. But we're going to do,
Their victims' names.
yeah, the victims' names. Go up. It seems like even some of it, no, not up. I'm sorry, down, because I think I can't see the top. Okay. Yes, you're right. So after this is when we started, because I think
Hmm.
we had already read.
Hmm.
But
We were on
I'll start.
16. We definitely was on 16.
Okay. Detective Jackson and I transported Chantel Freeman to the CAC in Bartow in my unmarked police vehicle. Upon arriving at the CAC, Blank escorted Chantel to a room specifically designed for interviews. The interviews were video recorded. I monitored the interview from a closed circuit TV monitor. Asked Chantel if she knew why she had to come to CAC. Chantel reported to talk about my dad again. Blank asked if anything had happened to Chantel since the last time Blank spoke with her. Chantel stated, "No, my dad is in jail." Blank asked Chantel if anything else was going on. Chantel stated no. Chantel knew the difference between the truth and a lie. Chantel promised to tell the truth. Chantel reported nothing happened to her. No one had done anything to her. Blank stated the last time you were here talking about her, no one had done anything. Oh, I'm sorry. Stated the last time you were here talking about her, your dad getting on top of you. Have you seen anybody else do that? Chantel stated no. Blank asked Chantel if anyone else had done that to her. Chantel stated no. Chantel reported no one had done that before her dad. No one had done that after her dad. Chantel reported only my dad did. See the CAC forensic interview and summary. I know you have something to say to that, Kimmy, right?
I don't know how you knew that. But the only thing I was going to say was there is a discrepancy from the breakbeat video that she did. And the discrepancy was Chantel said that her brothers had sexual intercourse with her, and her dad actually did a physical examination of her. He made her put her pants down, underwear, and he looked between her legs. And when he determined that she was a virgin, I mean, she was not a virgin, he decided to start having sexual intercourse with her. But as you can see in this particular statement, this is quite the opposite. And what I want to say is you have to remember Chantel was 8 years old when this happened. 8 years old. She's 29 now. And I made reference to myself with something that happened to me when I was probably in the first or second grade, and I did not remember until my 40s. And I probably don't remember everything to a T because I know Tasha K was saying, well, how come she doesn't remember? Because, something happened to me and I remember word for word, I remember where I was and blah, blah, blah. People deal with trauma in their brains differently. Everybody don't deal with trauma the same. And so you can't say she's lying because she doesn't remember. To be quite honest, Chantel just received this document on Friday, and her and I was on the phone together, and some of the things that were coming up in this document, she did not remember.
Exactly.
And she started to cry because she had blocked it all out.
Yeah. I agree, 100%. I'll keep reading so we can get through it. Blank had been scheduled for a 1300 appointment this date due to illness. I had Blank rescheduled the appointment for to Monday, November 24th, 2003 at 0830 hours. Is that what they say? Okay. Detective Jackson and I transported Chantel back to her home and turned her over to Blank. I advised Blank of the appointment Monday, stated she would have him there. See the superintendent report, CAC summary conclusion, and charges filed on the complaint affidavit. The narrative would not take the entire supplemental narrative. So I think that there was some attachments that we don't have, right? Keep going. It's listing all the allegations, you guys. So if you want to pause it, you can see that stuff. On Monday, November 24th, 2003, I responded to the CAC. Blank waited in the lobby with the children while Blank interviewed. Blank was escorted to a room specifically designed for interviews. The interview was video recorded. Remember, this is the brother who is going in to interview with the CAC now. I observed the interview via a closed circuit TV monitor. Blank asked Blank if he knew why he was here at the CAC. He stated, yeah, because somebody come to my family. Blank knew the difference between the truth and a lie. I don't know how old he is during this interview. Do you know how old he is? Okay,
I
we
don't,
don't know.
to be quite honest, I'm not for sure which brother it is. I don't
Okay,
know if it's the.
we don't know which one. Yeah, they didn't really give
I
us
don't know
detail.
which one, so I
We just
can't.
know it's just one of her brothers. Okay. Blank promised to tell the truth. Asked Blank about what he liked to do and not like to do with various family members. Blank spoke with Blank about punishment and what happened when he got in trouble. Blank reported, Blank makes me write sentences. Blank reported the last time he had to write sentences for doing something he had no business doing, and his brothers and sisters were in the bed and he fell asleep. Blank reported Blank was at work when he fell asleep. Blank reported he didn't understand what he was doing. He was asleep. And so he's recalling an incident, and they don't really give a lot of context as to what this incident is that he's recalling. But he's apparently stating that he was asleep during the incident and wasn't aware. The wife did talk about it. If you guys remember in the first part one, the wife did talk about an incident where one of the brothers, was inappropriate with her, and she had him write out sentences as a punishment, right? Apparently he was sleeping, he was dreaming, but she still punished him, I guess. So I think that's what he's recalling, that scenario, right? So it's just interesting how they wrote it up, because it doesn't give a lot of context as to what's going on. And he said he woke up and was told to go to his room. Let's go to the next one. Blank stated, Blank made him write sentences. Blank asked Blank what it was. Blank had him write it. Blank was unable to say verbally, and with much hesitation wrote on a piece of paper, I will not perform any sexual behavior anymore. So I think the wife also said that's what she had him write in a previous statement. Blank asked Blank if there was a time when he was in the bedroom with his sister Chantel. Blank reported that he and Chantel had gone in the room, closed the door, and watched TV. Blank reported Blank had told them not to close the door. Blank reported Chantel fell asleep and his mom Blank told him to get out of the room while they were sleeping. On Tuesday, November 25th, 2003, Blank responded to the Lakeland Police Department. I obtained a sworn taped statement from her. She transcribed, I'm sorry, See transcribed statement for further. I'm assuming that this is the transcript. In conclusion, 8-year-old Chantel Freeman reported her father, Clarence Freeman, let her suck his private and put his private in her private at the age of 7 while living in West Palm Beach, Florida. That's
I
also
just,
a discrepancy, right? Because we don't know that it was said in the interview that it didn't happen in the penetration did not happen until she was much older, like
well,
12.
actually no, because if you go with the time frame, um, on 9/2002, they did a physical examination on her, and she had not been touched at that point, nor did she have any type of sexually transmitted disease. But we don't know what happened from September 2002 until Clarence Freeman went to prison in April 21st, 2003. That's some months. So evidently, obviously, something happened between that short window of time. And Chantel actually, her birthday is actually February the 10th. So she would have been 8 the next year in February. So,
Yes. I think I'm referencing the Breakbeat Media interview where she
mm,
said it happened much later in life. And this
mhm,
is saying that it happened a little earlier than
earlier.
she said. That's all. I think that if people listen to the video, then
Mhm.
they will see a discrepancy with that, right? Hey, B Rock, he's like, he can't handle this. I get it.
Oh,
She said
Chantel.
that's her big brother,
Yep.
Clarence. Okay.
So that was
Right.
Clarence in this.
That's
So,
interviewing.
so let me make another reference, and it's so funny. Well, not funny, but it's good that she brought that out because if you have been following Kimmy's world, you know that I did another video called "Surviving Clarence," and in that particular video, there was a text message between Chantel and the older brother Clarence
Mhm.
talking about how they were having inappropriate relations,
Yeah.
and he was pretty much denying it. And he pretty much told Chantel in so many words. Well, he didn't say it so many words. He said, "Focus on Dad, not me,"
Mhm.
which was indirectly saying that he knew Dad had done something to Chantel. But you can see in this statement, or you will see going forward, you're not going to hear that.
Mhm. I that to me was very like the seeing the text exchange, and a lot of people kept claiming that the texts were not real, that they created the text through AI and she was doing all of that to support herself. And honestly, I do not believe that to be true. You can believe whatever you want to believe. I do understand how easy it is to create a text exchange, but I do not believe that's what happened in that case. Clarence clearly stated that what happened between them was consensual. He said, "Listen, I'm only 4 years older than you. Um, I was a child myself." And he clearly indicated that something inappropriate had happened between the two of them. Hey, Don, good to see you as well. So I just want to mention that that was one of the things that um, drew me to the conclusion of what my conclusion is. And I'm gonna wait to the end so y'all can just have, a drum roll. Even though if you go on my TikTok, you kind of know where I'm at, where I stand with it. But let's continue. I think in conclusion, we talked about that. So she reported that there had been some contact at the age of 7. Chantel reported at 8 years old. Her father lived at in Lakeland. He put his private in her private more than 4 times. He put his private inside her mouth, and he rubbed his private on her upper inner thigh. Chantel reported no one got on top of her in that manner before or after dad, stating only my dad did. Chantel was examined in 2002 by the CAC Palm Beach Incorporated. Chantel did not have genital warts. Woo, sorry, y'all. Chantel, I will not say that again. I'm sorry, I'm reading. Chantel was examined in 2003 by the CAC and was diagnosed. Clarence Freeman was seen at Bartow Memorial Hospital and was diagnosed. The mother, Blank, stated that she also was diagnosed from her husband, Clarence.
And
I
she got that from her husband, Clarence.
Yeah, she said it was from her husband. She previously reported she had not slept with anyone for 3 years before him.
Mm-mm.
So she knew that he had to be the one who gave her that. I completed a complaint affidavit charging Clarence with 1 count of capital sexual battery on a child less than 12 years old, 1 capital sexual battery oral on a child less than 12, and 1 count of lewd molestation. Okay, and 1 count of incest. I turned over the property and evidence, the CAC forensic interview videotapes from Chantel Freeman. It was 2 tapes he referenced. The handwritten note from Blank, dated on November 24th, 2003, and a sworn testimony statement. of blank taken on November 25th, 2003. Numerous attempts were made to get copies of the jail recordings that Clarence Freeman made, referencing that it negated negative results.
Sorry
Case
about that.
case case status exceptionally clear via complaint affidavit. So that doesn't say anything about it. Is there another
Um,
statement?
are you
Um,
reading what I'm reading, or am I
what
reading this wrong?
numerous attempts were made to get copies. What
No, no, no,
happened?
no, no, no. I completed a complaint affidavit
Mhm.
charging Clarence Freeman with. Does that mean at the beginning, or is this his conclusion?
This is the conclusion. They so even after the discrepancy with the medical examination
That's what I thought.
and the STD screening, he has been charged. He was charged well in 2003 he was charged with this.
So,
Or
so
that was
what I want to
his
say is,
recommendation. Mhm.
just to let everyone know, we are still investigating this. This is not the end. I want to reiterate, this is the beginning of
Mhm.
when a I ain't gonna say a real um what am I trying to say? This is
Mhm.
the beginning of this whole little debacle. This is
Yeah.
the beginning of the report. Now, there were previous reports done by the mother. There were so many other reports done prior to this one, but this is the first time Chantel has told anyone that this has happened to her. And like I said, there are plenty other documents that we do not have in our possessions that we will try to get so we can complete this.
Yes. I agree.
And I'm just now reading that.
Yeah, I saw that he had been charged, right? So I think what happens is the end result is what's going to be used to kind of refute this, right? But what we want to note is that even though there were some discrepancies, right, in statements, there were some discrepancies in medical diagnosis. The detective felt at that time he still had enough to move forward with charging Clarence Freeman with all three counts. So yeah, now we're going to kind of see this unfold and see what happened as a result of this. Um, because we know that there's some stuff that happened. Now let's see. I think the rest is kind of like the
It's at
after
the bottom here. It starts here.
interview.
Well, it starts here.
Yeah, this
And
interview.
I believe, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think this may be the inner. Oh, yes.
This
This is
is
the
this
interview.
it's a long interview
Yeah, it
because
is.
remember, we're only on page 22. So this is like the rest of this 56 pages. And really, this is the interview from the detective, Michelle Newsom, and she's interviewing, I believe it's the wife, correct? Um,
It
it's
is.
the
I
wife.
believe so.
Okay, so this is just kind of the ending of what happened and one of the things she attached. So let's talk about this.
And
Newsom.
this is super crucial, too.
Yeah, yeah, because it supports a lot. This is Newsom, which is the detective. Today's date is Tuesday, November 25th. The year is 2003. So this is months after the investigation have started. It started in April of 2003. Okay, there's been several months. Now they're interviewing the wife. So just keep that in mind. This is at 8:36 a.m. The speaker is Detective Newsom of the Lakeland Police Department. To present with me today is Detective Noni Dias. Okay, so that's the other name I saw. And I hope
So
I'm saying her name right.
I don't mean to
Nona.
cut you off, but this seemed like this is the actual court hearing, and they were probably doing an investigation prior. This seems like this is a court hearing. Is
I
it
don't
not? Let me go
I don't
back. Yes,
I
it
don't
is.
think so. I don't think so. Go up. Yeah, I don't think so. This is a taped
Event,
interview.
event.
Yeah, it's an interview. I don't think it's the
You don't think so?
I don't think it's the transcripts from the court here.
It may
I don't
not.
believe.
It may
Mm-mm,
not be.
no,
Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no problem. I think it's Nona Dias. I think that's her name. Also of the Lakeland Police Department. We're going to be
No, that's
speaking with blank in reference to case number, and they list the case number, and we'll be speaking with blank at the Lakeland Police Department in the criminal investigation section interview room. So it is okay to refer to you as blank. They are asking her what's okay to refer. So it seems like they kind of redacted the wife's name the entire time, so we don't know which wife it is. I think we know it was his first wife, right? Or we don't know if that's his
if
first wife.
I don't
Although
know if this is the,
we don't know which wife it is. Maybe
but there's a bunch of wives.
it's a bunch of wives.
If
Yeah.
Chantel is in the chat, maybe
She can tell us which
I
wife
don't
this
know.
is because we have no idea.
I
Um,
know the name, which I won't reveal.
okay.
It's the second
It's
wife.
the
Okay.
second wife. Okay. So the second wife, she says yes. Newsom said, "Can I get you to raise your right hand just to swear or affirm that you will be telling us today is the truth to the best of your knowledge?" She says, "Yes, ma'am." Now remember, she has sworn to tell the truth, you guys. Newsom, for tape purposes, I wanted to kind of back up and get a little history as to you and your husband, Clarence Freeman, and your, I guess it's his biological daughter, Chantel. Is that right? And she said, "Yes, ma'am." Newsom said, "Okay. Now Clarence Freeman is a senior. He's the second," she said. Keep going. Keep going. Go up. Newsom said, "Yeah, he's the second. Keep going." He's the second. Newsom said he's the second because I know you have a son. Yeah, her son is the third. Newsom, he's got his third. He's got a third. Okay. You and Clarence have been married for how long? Since September 12th of last year, 2002. Newsom. Okay. And during that time, I guess was married.
What the world? I'm sorry.
Yes. You're looking at the dates of
The
marriage.
only, yeah, I'm looking at the dates because they got married the same month as Chantel got examined. She
Oh,
got examined September 2002, and it was determined, that she had not been touched, nor did she have a sexually transmitted disease.
oh, so
And it's so
he
funny
married
that,
him.
well, I'm not gonna say it's funny, but it's mighty strange that he. Let me wait to the end. Sorry.
He married her while he was in the midst of these allegations. Was he in prison still?
No, he didn't go to prison until
Till
April.
2003. Yeah, to
He
2003.
didn't go to prison on April 21st, 2003.
I see. Okay. So Newsom says, okay. And during that time, I guess he was married prior to you guys getting married. And she said he was. Newsom said, okay, so he has some other children and y'all have some children together, right? She says, we have one child together and he has 11 outside children. Newsom, okay, now you have custody right now of any of those children, though three of those. So the wife had custody of three of his children. Newsom, okay, and what are the names? And she named all three children. Chantel Freeman was also named. So at this time, the wife has custody of Chantel.
So it
Newsom, go
sounds
ahead.
like to me she had custody of the two boys and
Mhm.
Chantel two other brothers and her, because the brother that's next to Chantel, I'm not gonna say his name, they share both mother and father,
Mhm.
but the older brother, they only share
Has a
father.
different mother.
Okay.
Mhm. Mhm. And yeah, we don't know who it is, but yep. So it's Brandon, Clarence, and Chantel. Chantel is confirming that that is correct. Newsom. Okay, so Chantel Freeman, that's his daughter. And she said, yes, ma'am. Newsom, how old is she? And the wife says 8. Newsom, okay, now you guys live in West Palm Beach at one time. She said, yes, ma'am. Newsom, okay, when was that? And then the wife says, we moved in together August 31st of 2001. Newsom,
Oh,
okay. Newsom, okay.
oh.
Where was that? In West Palm Beach? Blank, that was located, and she gave the address apparently. Newsom, okay. The wife, that was off of blank. Newsom, oh, okay, that's okay. And so it's all redacted. Newsom, okay, is that an apartment complex? And she said yes. Newsom, okay, is that located in West Palm Palm Beach? And she said yes, which I thought she said that already. Newsome, okay. When did you live there? We lived blank at the 31st until March 1st of, let me see when it was, March 1st of 2002. Newsome, okay. Now, was there, I guess, during that period of time, was he in some type of accident from work related or something? He had a surgery. Newsome, okay. And what was that for? The wife, for his foot. He had broken bones in his foot. Newsome, okay. Now, was he in a wheelchair at that time? Yes. Now she's asking that for a specific reason because Chantel referenced that he was in a wheelchair during a period of time when the abuse was happening. So remember, the detective is asking these questions because it coincides with what she know has happened, right?
Not
Newsom.
not just an abuse, but he wanted her to perform oral sex on
Right.
him while he was in a wheelchair.
I know I try not to, but you like I'm gonna say.
Might as well. It's on here.
So
I'm sorry.
so that was definitely what happened. Newsom, okay. The wife, December. So December is when he was in the wheelchair, December of 2001, the detective says. Newsom, okay, I guess then what point did you guys move to Lakeland? He moved here August last year of 2002. So it's just a lot of moving around.
You
Newsom,
know what?
okay, go
I
ahead.
don't mean to cut you off, but something just clicked in my head
No, go ahead.
with what Chantel said on the Breakbeat interview. She said in the Breakbeat interview that he was having her perform oral sex before he penetrated her.
Mm,
And that makes,
yeah,
I'm
that's
just going
definitely
along with
no, that's
one
definitely what
interview
she
to this
said. Yeah.
particular document. Wow. That wow. And this is all going to make sense later on down in this because
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure me and Tawana going to bring it out. So let me
Yeah.
shut up.
I want them to see what the wife said in her own
Mm-hmm.
words and what was recorded in her own words.
Mm-hmm.
Newsome, okay, where did y'all move to? And I guess she explained it's redacted. Go keep going up. Newsome, okay, what's the address there? Newsome. Now, both of y'all moved there together? No, ma'am. He came up there first and I came up after. Newsome. Okay. When he did he bring the children or she said, yes, ma'am. So he brought the children, is what I'm assuming. Newsome. Okay, then at what point did you come up? I came up in September. She did not give a year. I'm assuming that's 2001, right? Okay.
Yes.
Newsome. Okay. How long did you guys live on? And the wife says, well, we lived there since March. Then in March, year March, and then April, I moved to blank and to blank. I'm sorry. Newsome. Okay, March of 2002. I mean 3. So I guess it's 2003. She said 2002, I mean 3. So she meant 2003. Newsome. Okay. This year. Newsome. So March of this year, okay, was now you said you moved to blank. So she's trying to get her to commit to where they moved to. It seemed like they got too much going on. And she said,
Mm.
huh. So that's, I guess, yes, we did. Newsome. And he moved to blank. Well, I moved back in April, end of March, beginning of April. He moved to blank in March. Newsome. Okay, now
Mm.
again, you're still married. And she said, yes, I'm still married.
Because this will be around the time that he went to prison in April 2003.
Yeah.
Was it April? Yeah, April 21st, 2003, he went to prison. So she must have moved back and took the kids. Well, she did. She moved back and
She
took the
said
kids
she
with her.
moved back and she had custody of the kids. Okay. So now, how come you've moved to two separate residences, right? Well, I had a restraining order against him that corroborates what Chantel said. The reason why I moved blank was because it was still owned by my landlord and we were having plumbing problems. Newsome, okay. Was there, you said you had an injunction, huh? What was that for? From the first time that he was arrested March 2nd. Newsome. Okay, so
Wow.
yeah, he was arrested March 2nd. Newsome. Okay. So he is what was he arrested for? She said domestic violence. Newsome said, okay. And then she said domestic battery. Newsome said, okay, there's a history of domestic violence. She said, yes, ma'am.
So I just want to say this. Um, Normally, when I mean, many of you probably can attest to this. Normally, when you get married to someone, there's a honeymoon period. You know, that first year is a honeymoon period. It's really no fighting. It's
Mhm.
really, I mean, you may have a disagreement here and there, but it is a honeymoon period. And this is quite the opposite.
Yeah,
Although, you know, this just gives reference to his character.
exactly. I think establishing, because knowing that when he's interviewed, especially on Tasha K, and not to talk about her, but she does not talk about his past. And I think the one time she tried to bring up his past, he was very defensive and would not talk about it at all. And I thought that was very odd from that interview. And you guys go watch it and tell me what you think. But when she interviewed him, I think that it's important that we know that he has a history of domestic violence, that he's had several wives, that he's been in, jail multiple times or arrested multiple times. Like, that stuff is important. And I think that it was kind of overlooked. Like, no, that has nothing to do with that. But anyway, um, okay then. Okay, so now then he moved to blank. Did you ever go over to that apartment? And she said, yes, I did a couple times. Newsome. Okay, that apartment, can you explain what that apartment was like? Okay, was it one story? She said there was. Newsome, two-story? No, it was two stories. It had two bedrooms on the top floor and then on the bottom. Once you walk in the kitchen, was to your right. You will go down the, and I'm assuming that's stairs or what?
I
It
have no
was
clue.
it was there. It was like a step. You will go down the step. There's your living room and it had a half bathroom. Newsome. Now you said there were two bedrooms upstairs. Newsome, the wife upstairs. Newsome, where were the kids living with him at that point? Were the kids living with him at that point? The wife says they spent a couple of nights there. I want to say about a week, but then the majority of the time they were at the house with me. Newsome, okay. When they would stay at blank with Clarence, do you know what the sleeping arrangements were?
Now, what I want to say is, I just want to just make a little point, um, that I think this was really important that he asked him about sleeping arrangements, because children are, when there have been reports through the state comes into the home and they make sure each child has a bed to sleep in. They may not have to have a room, like you have four kids, you don't have to have four bedrooms, but you need to have four beds. And that is so important. So, as you can see in this transcript, just to, give you a little perspective of what was actually going on and how this girl was failed. Chantel was failed.
Yeah, I think she also reported similar things to DCFS, well, DCF, and also she reported it to the detective. And it's actually coinciding with what she reported, that there was no furniture, that she was sleeping on the floor, that there were two bedrooms upstairs. Like, everything she recalled as an 8-year-old, this adult woman is
That's
also
right.
recalling it.
That's
So
right.
that's important to note.
And
Well,
so
he
that
did.
gives, I'm so sorry,
Go
but
ahead.
that gives credibility to her as an eight year old,
That's right.
act to tell the truth.
Exactly. And the wife says, well, he didn't have any furniture. So he had air mattresses. He had an air mattress on the floor in the living room. It wasn't on the floor that he had some air mattresses come with stands. He had that on a stand. And then he had one mattress up in the kids' room on the floor. Newsome. Okay, so where did the kids stay upstairs? So where did the kids stay upstairs? And she said, yes, ma'am. That wasn't the answer, but that's okay. She said, yes, ma'am. Newsome. And Clarence stayed downstairs. Oh, I guess she said, oh, where did the kids stay? Upstairs. And she said, yes, ma'am. And then she said, Clarence stayed downstairs. So he slept downstairs. Newsome downstairs. Okay. And when you say the kids, who are you talking about? And then she explains who was supposedly sleeping upstairs. Inaudible, Chantel and blank. So I guess she named everybody who was supposed to be sleeping upstairs. Newsome. Okay, do you know where Chantel stayed when she would stay there? The wife. From my understanding, she was up in the room with the kids. So Chantel was sleeping upstairs with her brothers, is what she understood.
I
Mm.
also want to make another reference to when Clarence was given the interview with Tasha K. He kind of boasted a little bit about always living in nice places, and he always put his kids in nice environments. And as you can see, they didn't have any furniture.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, so a few conflicts there, right? I wonder had DCF and looked at this place and saw it for themselves and noted that this is how the kids were living. I don't know. Newsome, from my understanding, she was up in the room with the kids, and Newsome said, okay. The wife says, but from what she's told me, that sometimes Clarence would have her come downstairs. Newsome, okay. What else did she tell you about that? The wife, as far as her coming downstairs, Newsome said, yeah. The wife, that, well, she told me about one incident that happened there, and apparently he was checking her to see if, that what she says at first, he was checking her to see had and there been anything wrong with her. And then that he he put it seemed like she's kind of stumbling, but they're trying to type it out. He blindfolded her with a shirt and put her on the air mattress and did what he wasn't supposed to do to her. Newsome, okay, now when you say that, what do you mean by that? The wife, he performed sexual activity toward her. Newsome said, okay, actual intercourse. And the wife said, yes, ma'am. Newsome, okay, when that Chantel told you that, and the wife said, when I made the allegation, when I called it in.
So
Newsome, go ahead.
I just want to just make another little point here. And I know for those of you all who saw part one, you already know this, but for those of you all just coming on part two, the blindfold is so important because um Clarence Freeman was saying that Chantel was saying that Clarence was uncircumcised, and there was a report made or something, and the police came to the house, and Chantel said that Clarence was uncircumcised. So the police made him pull his pants down, and he was in fact circumcised.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I want to say is, how can you know if a person is circumcised or is not circumcised if you are blindfold most of all of the time when you are either performing oral sex or if you are having sexual intercourse? You don't know what it looks like, and you can't say, well, you can feel the difference. If she's 8 years old, she would
Right.
not know that.
Right. And so I think that is important to know because it's a big area where people question Chantel's story because they felt that she was 20 or 21 at the time. So they felt that someone that was 20 or 21 would know the difference between a circumcised or uncircumcised private area. And when she said that he wasn't circumcised, the police then noticed that he was circumcised. So then they pretty much didn't believe that anything had happened, right? Because of that one statement. That is the implication, that they did not move forward with arresting Clarence because she said something different and they witnessed that he was
Mm-hmm.
getting circumcised. So yeah, I think that's also a point that people always bring up, especially in my comments. Like,
Mine too.
she would have said, she shouldn't have said
She
that. She
should have
shouldn't have
known
said
that.
that. She should have known that. However, if you go back, she was 8 years old during this time when things were happening to her, and she was blindfolded most of the time. So she knew that things were happening to her, that she was being touched, that she was being asked to do stuff, that she felt things, but she could not recall as 8 or however long, even if you 12 or 13, like, do you know the difference between circumcised and uncircumcised? Probably not, So I think that she did explain why she said that in another statement. It's either on her IG page or it's somewhere where she basically said that her father was bigger. He was a little bigger at the
That's
time.
right. That's
And
right. She said he was fat and he
because
had to
he
hold
was
his
big,
belly up.
yeah, because he was big, she assumed that because she used to see him like move back his skin, she assumed that he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't circumcised
Mm-hmm.
because of that. And that makes logical sense to me. Some people still say, no, that don't make sense to them, whatever. But I'm just saying, to me, that made sense. Her explanation
I
as to
think
why
it
she said
doesn't
that.
make sense to people because they see Chantel as a 29-year-old woman now, and they're
That's right.
saying that she should know better.
Hmm.
But from the age of 8 to 15 is when the alleged sexual abuse was supposed to occur. You wouldn't know.
No,
You wouldn't know.
you would not know. That to me, that's not a big red flag to make me
Mm-mm.
feel that she's lying about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I respect other people's opinion about it, and so every time someone does, say something, I do respect their opinion. But
Tawana, I'm
yes,
gonna have
go
to
ahead.
press mute.
No
Somebody is
problem.
cutting grass outside and it's loud, so I'm
Okay,
gonna
good.
press
I want
mute.
to get through this transcript because we only on
Go
page
ahead.
30. So
Go
that's
ahead.
good. You can mute it. Um, and then it's the wife. She says, well, they only stayed there for a week because they went to school, right? They were there. They were still going to school at Medulla. Newsom said, uh-huh. And then the wife says, so I didn't get any sense in, them going to and from blank to come this way. So I just had them stay at the house with me, being that all the furniture and everything was still there. Keep going. Okay, Newsom. Okay, so they stayed there maybe for a week, but then they came home. They came and stayed with you. And the wife said, yes, ma'am. Newsom said, would they go back and visit him? The wife said, not really. He would come over there just to see how they were doing, and then he would leave. Newsom, okay, do you remember when that was? They stayed there for that week. The wife said, well, the incident occurred March 2nd. I want to say March 3rd and March 4th. I was gone. And then I believed it was earlier the 4th or the 5th that I got a restraining order. And then an injunction against him. And that same day that I got an injunction, he had to leave. So Newsom, okay. And when you say the incident happened, the thing with Chantel, she said, no, I'm speaking of the domestic violence. Newsom, okay. So as far as you do know, when did this would have been the incident with Chantel would have taken place? So when would the incident with Chantel have taken place? Newsom, I want to say anywhere between March. I really couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you anywhere between March 5th and the 12th. So this is when they're alleging, when she believes this incident took place. Newsom, okay, that's the March of this year. And the wife said, yes, ma'am. This year is 2003, you guys, just so you know. So March of 2003 is when they suspect this incident took place. Newsom, okay, she said she was going to Medulla Elementary at the time. This is important because the caseworker who referenced her earlier was from Medulla Elementary. So that would be the caseworker who knew Chantel and who knew her, her behavior history. And she did tell us that Chantel had no complaints about being promiscuous on school grounds. So a lot of what's being reported about her is inaccurate, according to this police investigation, right? And according to the wife who had custody of her at the time. So, yes, ma'am, the wife said. Newsome, they have school uniforms there? The wife said, yes, ma'am. What are the colors? Newsome, what are the colors? The wife said blue, white, burgundy. Newsome said, okay, that would be, and she said navy blue. Okay, Newsome, okay. The wife said, and beige. Newsome, okay. Those are like the shirt colors. And the wife said their shirts, they can wear navy blue bottoms or beige bottoms. The Newsome said, okay. The wife said, or sometimes they can jeans, right? Newsome, okay. Did Chantel wear burgundy shirts? And she said, yes, ma'am. Newsome, okay, and blue bottoms? And she said, yes, ma'am. Newsome, okay. Now I guess you said then at some point Chantel tells you something happened with her dad. Newsome, I mean the wife, she said, well, she told me, I want to say I don't remember what month it was that I caught this allegation. It came out about my little brothers were talking to blank, and Chantel and my little brother, he's like, blank, you need to go ahead and talk to Chantel because she's saying things that she doesn't have any business saying. And apparently, she had told them that Clarence was getting on top of her, rocking up and down, telling him, don't let boys do this to you. And my brother, he didn't know how to take that. So he came and told me. And when I went to speak to Chantel about it, that's when she told me about all the incidents that occurred. Wow. That's huge because Chantel didn't tell on her dad. The brother did, right? And then Chantel confirmed it when she was approached by the mother
And
or the stepmother.
that is so crucial, like she said, because there were so many people that did not believe that text message thread between Clarence the brother and Chantel. And I made reference in the video Surviving Clarence about he pretty much indirectly told Chantel to focus on dad. Like he already knew that dad was doing that to Chantel. And as you can see in this document, this is all the way back in 2003. This is 21 years ago. And he admitted, wow, this is major.
This is an 8-year-old girl telling her brother, dad is doing stuff to me. He's doing this. And the brother's hearing this and saying, hey, mom, stepmom, right? There's something's wrong here. Maybe you need to look into this.
That's
And
big.
the mom immediately reported this. So now the stepmom is reporting everything that she remembers around surrounding these allegations, you guys. So just, I know that there's been all these complaints against me and all of this has been unfounded. This is the first time Chantel had a complaint against him.
That's a
All
great
the
point, Tawana.
previous complaints were from her mother, were from other people. They were also from her father. This was the only time that this was coming directly from Chantel's mouth in terms of what has happened to her. So I think that we can make a lot of assumptions from that. But let's keep going because I want y'all to get this because this
No,
is dropping
let
some
me say
gems.
one more
Go
thing.
ahead.
Not only was it a complaint that was unfounded by the mother, but Clarence Freeman also made a complaint that was unfounded. And
That's right.
until Chantel used her voice, now it's true,
That's right.
allegedly.
Exactly. And what's important about that, because on the Tasha K interview, he said that Chantel had been falsely reporting him several times, and that
That's
every
right.
time that she was falsely reporting him, it was unfounded.
That's
But
right.
you can see from the DCF reports that have been referenced in this investigation that it was the mother who had reported him. It
That's
was
right.
not Chantel. And it wasn't, and she was not even interviewed in 2000 about her father, even
That's
though
right.
there was an allegation of abuse at that time.
That's
They
right.
didn't even interview Chantel. So this is the first time since she turned 8 years old that we hear from her own mouth what happened to her. So
They
I
actually they
listen,
actually closed the case because they said her mother was mentally ill.
that's right.
They closed the
They
case.
closed all those allegations.
That's right.
Her mother was saying something's wrong with this man, right? Something is wrong with him. Maybe she was dramatizing the situation. Maybe she was reporting inaccurate information, but she knew that something was wrong with that father and that he was doing something to her daughter, but she just couldn't get anyone to believe her because she does because they cited mental illness, which I think that has been refuted and that whatever, but they have cited mental illness at that time. So let's see what Newsom said. She's the detective now. Remember, let's follow us because I know we've stopped and we give our little 2 cents, then we come back. So Newsom is the detective, so she's still talking to the wife. She says, okay, so she was saying there was more than one time, and she said, yes, ma'am. Newsom said, okay, what all did she tell you? We're going to hear what the wife says Chantel told her. Okay. The wife, well, she said it started when we were living in the blank. I see. I would leave Clarence, and you know why she would leave him? Because he can't keep his hands off of women. Okay, so he was beating her. She was leaving. He was using that as an opportunity to prey on Chantel. But I digress. I would leave Clarence. I would leave Clarence and then go back to Clarence. And she said that each incident occurred every time I left him. And she said that it started when he was in the wheelchair. There's that wheelchair again, guys. That's when it started. That was the point of reference for Chantel. She got so many things right. It's interesting how many things people call out that she got wrong, but she got some key things right. It coincides with everyone else's story. As
And
an
not
8 year
only,
old, go
because
ahead.
I think most people are thinking, well, the medical record said that he wasn't having sexual intercourse with her. Chantel said in the breakbeat interview, he was making her perform oral sex, and
That's
you
right.
will see later on in this document. We're gonna get finished today, but you're gonna see it later on in the document why we said it was oral sex.
That's
And
right.
two, she talked about her kneeling in front of him, performing oral sex on him while he was in the
She was in a
wheelchair.
wheelchair. He was
And
moving
here
her
it is.
head because she was going too slow. She said that. He was moving her head because she was going too slow. Listen, when I tell you that people minimize oral sex, she was still SA'd regardless. Oral sex is still SA, you guys. And I don't want to keep saying it because I don't want Kimmy's channel to get striked or mine. So I'm gonna stop saying that word, but I'm just letting you know that people are minimizing that. Like, well, he didn't penetrate her. I don't care. If a father have you doing something like that, that is inappropriate. That
If
is wrong.
anybody, not just a father, if anybody, if
Anybody,
you are a
anybody.
minor,
Oh yeah. Oh, and on my channel, please believe that everybody knows how much I hate pedos. Okay. I don't support them in no way. Y'all not gonna get on my channel and blame no family members, friends. I'm telling y'all, I do not support this at all. So that's why I be all on it with this. Okay. Let's go from what now? Let's go from Newsom. Now, the detective hears this, right? Did she say as far as how it started or what was he doing? Or and the wife said she said that he called her in the room, and that she made her get up, and on her he blindfolded her eyes with a shirt and made her get on her knees and perform oral on him. Then when she finished, that she got up, told her to get up and put toothpaste in her mouth. Now
this
remember, the wife also said After she did that to him, that was what he wanted her to do too. She went to go brush her teeth or put toothpaste in her mouth. So he made his daughter do something that the wife also says she did. I'm telling y'all, these are some key things that people are not saying that she recalled as an 8-year-old. Okay.
Now I do know that Clarence Freeman rebuttal now.
That's right.
We got to give the other side. He says he was found innocent of all charges of this.
He did.
He said that he
And
was
he
found
was. And he
innocent,
was. He
that they
was.
closed this case.
Mhm.
But the reason why we are bringing this to your attention is because all people hear is closed case, but
That's
you
right.
don't see what actually led up to it and the reason why they closed the case. We still don't know because after reading this, everybody is in the comments just, why is he walking around? This story is disturbing.
That's right.
You can see why Tawana and I have taken the stand that we have, because we both have done our due diligence to look past or to do our own digging, because Tawana was doing her own digging before she even met me. I found
Mhm.
her somewhere else. Actually,
And
we
we
linked
were
up
we
on
were
the
getting cursed
Tasha
out on
K
Tasha K
app.
Live. We were both getting cursed out on Tasha K Live for supporting her. And then we were like, let's get us together. Okay. But listen, this is disturbing. And
Mhm.
as even though this was dismissed. So you know what, Kimmy? I won't say he was found to be innocent. It was dismissed. It was dismissed, which is different because it didn't go to trial. I don't even think he was found, like it didn't even go through the due process. From
That's
what
those
I
other
understand,
documents we have to,
that's what we have to get
we
from
got to
what
get the other documents.
was reported to me. He was dismissed. It was not oh, he was found not guilty, right? Which is different, right? Because dismissal means we don't have enough evidence to move
That's right.
forward.
That's
We,
right.
we don't have enough information. It doesn't mean that he didn't do it. So I'm just want to, put that out there. And if Clarence got some documents to say that they found him innocent, tell him to put it out there. Because right now, Chantel's the only person that's put out documents. The only person.
The thing I want to say to y'all, and then I'm gonna be quiet and let her finish reading. Make sure you share this live, because everybody needs to know exactly what you are hearing. Mind you, that breakbeat interview got almost 500 some thousand views.
That's
And
right.
Tasha K app alone, there were so many people over there coming down on Chantel because they don't know this.
They don't know this. Yep.
They don't know this. They don't know the backstory.
They
I'm gonna
don't.
be quiet now.
Newsome. And again, that was at, and she named it, and the wife said, yes, Newsome. Okay. Did she say anything happened here as far as in Lakeland? The wife says, yes. Newsome said, and okay, what happened in Lakeland? The wife, I left Clarence, I want to say it was November 22nd of last year. And she said that one day he went into her room and told her to come inside of his room. He told her to take a shower. And then after she took a shower, for her to get in bed and lay in bed. And again, he covered her eyes with a shirt. And she said she felt him put some wet stuff, and then he put it in. And I asked her, well, what did he put in? And she said his private part. I said, are you sure wasn't his finger? Or she said, no, it was his private part. Newsome said, how did she know it was
Here,
his
because I got to
private
bring
part?
something out. I got to bring it out.
Yes.
So I'm really good with dates. If you look at this right here, that physical examination was done on September 2002. And
Mhm.
remember, I said it had to be between September of 2002 and April 2003. As you can see here, this is the stepmom. This ain't even Chantel talking. This
That's
is
right.
this is the wife at the time. She said it was November 22nd. Clarence Freeman was not in prison on November the 22nd.
He was
So
not.
when he made the statement on that 2-minute teaser on Tasha K Live, and he said that he was in prison, he couldn't have done it He bold-faced lied. And
That
I'm
was a
going to say
lie.
it and I'm going to stick to it. He lied. And
Hmm.
that's not even in my opinion. According to this document, he lied according to this document.
Yeah, because that's a big thing. He's saying he was in prison when this supposed allegations happened, and that was not true. The She did not report it until he was in prison. And I am suspecting that it's because she didn't feel safe until he was somewhere locked up. And that is what I am saying.
That's
I
my
would
opinion
I
too.
would love for Chantel to say why she did it then. She may not even
She
recall.
not
She was
even
8 years
remember.
old.
Mhm.
But from my mind as an adult woman who's reading this, I'm like, she was clearly scared to report him while he was out free, and she was traveling from his house and he was coming to see them. So she felt comfortable when he went to jail, and she was able to tell her stepmom and her brother, and she felt like something was going to happen for her, y'all. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm
why.
so sorry. When I hear this and when I tie all that together and I hear him talking on Tasha K Lives, it pisses me off
Yes.
because to have a man get up there and deceive so many people and be so manipulative, he is very convincing.
Hmm.
Very
Hmm.
convincing.
Hmm.
But the average person would not know because the average person can't grab this document and read it. This document had to be provided to us by Chantel.
That's right. If you see the top of this document, it says juvenile confidential. It's stamped, guys. Um, you can see that it was a confidential document. Only Chantel or a lawyer or someone in that type of like involved could pull this, right? I'm sure Clarence got a copy of it. He probably didn't want to share it because it's too
Oh
much
no, ma'am.
evidence.
He that wait. For the record, and y'all make sure y'all share this because I want everybody to see this. Um, Tasha K on Wild with Tasha K little teaser. If you pay attention and if you listen to the verbiage, she had sheets of this document because
Right.
Tawana brought it to me. She said she's reading from that, but she don't have all 56 pages. It looked like she had
She
about
can't.
3-4 pages.
She
And as
can't
y'all
have
can
it.
see, this is a 56-page document.
And we
And
read
to
all
shut
56 pages. Okay. We read all 56 pages, not just the ones that made Clarence look like he was telling the truth.
And
Right.
to Chantel's credit, she sent these documents over on Friday to Tasha K's assistant. So Tasha K is in possession of these documents. So
That's
if
right.
there are videos going forward that are not factual concerning this, and she allows Clarence Freeman to sit on her platform and say Chantel Freeman was 4 years old, Chantel Freeman, blah blah blah. It's a bold face.
That's right.
Y'all fill in the blank. I'm sorry. I got upset, y'all.
No, I agree. And I think that it's important to note that this document did not make Chantel look great either, or it revealed very personal information. So remember, she shared this with us. So be vulnerable, be very, very protective of her after we talk about this stuff, because this was anyone would have some hesitation about sharing this information about themselves. And she gave it to us to make sure that we could put the truth out. And I appreciate that. Okay. And I don't want to overlook that because this is very personal information that is out
Not
there for the world to see.
it's so good that she said that Tawana said that because Chantel, upon reading this, like I said, I was on the phone with her and she was bawling because the sexually transmitted disease that this document brought out, she didn't even know she had. Do y'all hear what I'm saying?
Yep.
She read this document and she was so embarrassed. Y'all don't understand how embarrassing this is. This is sensitive information and this is putting her life on a microscope. And everybody is telling this girl, you lying, you lying. She's heard this her whole life. And then
That's
social
right.
media comes, so many people in her chat, so many people in my chat. I've gotten messages even up until a few hours ago saying she's lying. Nobody believes her. And
That's
that's
right.
why this is entitled We Fail Chantel. Because if you are one of those people who are saying that she is lying, you are part of it. You
That's
part of the problem.
Yeah, I think for sure there's still a lot of people who doubt her. And I think even up until this document that we see, people were saying, yeah,
Wow.
YouTube automatically deletes it if you put certain words, LM. That's what I was trying to let her know, because certain words are, um, oh yeah, they keep getting deleted. Okay. Yeah, it depends on, so YouTube has an automatic response to some documents and some sensitive information. It might delete it depending on what the words are on the document. So I don't know, maybe you have to email it directly to Kimmy, or
No, 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 no. She says she is trying to
she's trying to
uh
post
post
receipts
post
from
this
her comments.
particular channel, and
Right.
someone is going in and deleting it. That no, YouTube will let you post the channel information. I don't know why it's getting deleted.
No, she's trying to post receipts from her comments
I
and they
only
get
put your
deleted.
channel.
Yeah.
I can tell you guys, I keep trying to post your channels and
Oh.
comments. She said, "Can I tell you guys? I keep trying to
Oh, they trying to, oh,
post
they
your
deleting
channels
it.
and comments, and my comment gets deleted."
Oh, I see what she's
So
saying.
no, someone is deleting it, and it would have to be actually breakbeat.
Maybe
Maybe they won't have nothing to do
he
with it.
don't want to promote our channel. He's like, I don't want to promote their channel. They don't, he don't want to
Oh,
promote.
she's trying to post receipts.
Yes.
Oh, it's not gonna let you post receipts. You're right, Tawana.
Yeah.
No, she said no. It's deleting the links.
Oh.
Well,
Mm-hmm. So a lot of channels don't like to promote other channels, y'all. I know that me and Kimmy are like, we are collaborating, but a lot of them, they don't like to promote other channels. They will delete them channels out of their chat, or maybe he has an automatic filter to delete people from doing that. So yes. Oh, he said he's from Port County himself. Ooh, Freezy, yes, Freezy. Listen, Chantel,
I'm
Freezy is my boy. Freezy is my boy. Okay, he is like, y'all, like he is a really really good content creator as well. I always talk about Freezy, and I
oh,
crack up
okay.
laughing.
Okay, make it make sense.
You
What
need
is
a
that? Make it
link to
make sense,
post.
channel?
Oh, you need a link. Oh, okay. So LMF, you need a link to post those things. So you might have to just put our names, like, hey, go to Kimmy's World or Tawana G, instead of our link to our, just
Wait a
say
minute.
that.
Is that make it make sense, channel?
I don't know. Is it?
Wait a minute. Don't tell me that's who I be watching all the time.
Make it make sense? Is that him? Oh, she did that. Okay, good. She
Is
did
that
that.
make? Hold on. Is that make it make sense? Cause I
Yep.
love his channel.
Uh-oh. Click on his name. You can see it from you should be able to see it
No,
from
that's
yours.
not him.
Okay.
He has a name like him. I was gonna say that dude got 158,000 subscribers. But anyway, let's get back to this
Let's
document.
get
Girl,
back to this,
y'all,
because
we done got on a
we're gonna go
tangent
down a
for
rabbit
real.
hole. Let's go to let's so I'm at the Newsome right here. The detective, she said, how did she know it was his private parts? And the wife is saying she said that she says that she can tell the difference between a finger and a private part. And
Can
I
I go back
think
up
sure
just
you
for a
would.
moment?
Go
Hold
ahead.
on just a second. So I think we miss a crucial part.
Hmm.
If you all remember from excuse me, part one, where the wife at the time talked about when she had sexual intercourse with Clarence, that they used some form of lubricant. And as you can see, here it says, and she said she felt him stick, but put some wet stuff and then put it in. Just make a notation in your mind because it's gonna come up again about that wet stuff.
Yeah, I agree. That was a key thing. All right. She said she knows the difference between a finger and a private part, right? She knows if you can tell, right? Newsome. Okay. Where was the house? Wait. Okay, where, what house, and was that at? I
That's
don't.
bad.
That's a real bad English, y'all. I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming she's saying where was the house at, and then the wife said it was at this place, Newsom. Okay, had she told you that anything happened at this location? The wife said, yes, ma'am. That was the incident with the air mattress, Newsom. Okay, so you had, I guess, penal penetration that at blank from what she's telling you at blank that was. And then the wife said, back in March. Newsom said, okay, what did he do there? He laid her on the bed on the air mattress, and she said that he knew some. Okay, so that was the penal penetration also. And the wife said, yes, ma'am.
So, um, the first incident the first incident allegedly happened in November 2002. The
Right.
second one was March 2003, and I have to keep saying this. Clarence Freeman did not go to prison until he wasn't arrested until April the
April.
21st,
That's right.
2003.
That's right. He just had an injunction, which was kind of a restraining order. However, he was not arrested. And Chantel had spent a week with him. And there were opportunities prior to that where the mother left the home due to domestic violence incidents, and this alleged abuse happened. And let's also remember, guys, that Chantel also said, I mean, he also said Chantel was making false allegations against him for years. And we saw in this document, that Chantel had not been making false allegations against him. In fact, it was the mother, and then the father made two allegations. One was that a cousin touched her, the second was that an uncle had molested her. So where is Chantel making all these false allegations? Again, remember, he also said that Chantel was promiscuous and had been caught in school doing all this sexual stuff. The counselor said that was not true. And in fact, Chantel was quiet and to herself. Now we have to remember, those are huge lies. I don't hear people talking about those lies that
They
have
don't
been
know them.
said.
They don't know about those lies because all they hear is Clarence saying, "Well, the case was closed. The case was dropped." That's all people hear, but they don't hear the other stuff that is pertinent, that he is lying on a platform saying it's true. And it's, y'all see it. It's a lie. What is it? It's a lie. If it ain't the truth, it's a lie. Chantel knew the truth between a lie and the truth at 8.
That's right. They should have asked him, do he know the difference?
Do
I
he
mean,
know the truth?
I would like for them to have asked the adults, okay? So Newsom said, did she say anything about oral at the any one of those places? She said, I couldn't remember. Newsom, okay. Has she said anything like this to you before? The wife said, no, ma'am. Y'all got to sit on that. No, ma'am. Because if you watch the Tasha case, she is going to say that Chantel has been saying these things for a long time.
She been
And she
lying
had
a
been
long
making
time.
false complaints for a long time. And now we see from a detective who interviewed multiple people, who cited multiple sources, that that is not true, guys. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's a
Newsom,
great point.
okay. Are you aware of any allegations as far as sexual allegations of abuse concerning Chantel, the wife? The only well from Clarence has telling me the reason why she has taken from her mother was because the fact that she was prostituting Chantel. This is the allegation from Clarence. And Chantel's been molested by her uncle. And and then that time in Palm Springs when we were first together, that he called the police on his nephew because his nephew kissing her under the sheets.
You gonna you gonna say something about this?
Go ahead, Kim, because listen,
Yeah,
I'm
you get
I'm gonna cry like you. Remember yesterday? I'm gonna cry like you. I'm gonna let you go
girl.
ahead.
That's making me mad today.
Yeah, it's making me mad.
Um, what I'm gonna say is Clarence Freeman on the Tasha K Live, he talked about her mother had a prostitute. He also talks about an uncle. But if you go back to our part one from yesterday, in this document, there were reports made, and the case was closed. It wasn't true.
It was unfounded, guys, unfounded on all of those other prior allegations that were reported by the father, by the mother, even, right? None of those were founded. Um, and let's keep in
And he
mind.
lied all the way back then to, I mean, he
Let's
has
keep
a
in mind
problem
that
with
an eight,
lying.
yeah, but let's keep in mind that an 8-year-old has been diagnosed with an STD. Okay, so even if we don't, for whatever reason, believe that she has been touched, you know that an 8-year-old can only get an STD if she had been touched. Okay, so please, come on.
Not only that, Clarence Freeman was on the Tasha K live show, and he was weaponizing what Chantel had
That's right.
because he knew what she had. Because I ain't gonna say that. He knew what she had because he was privy to these documents.
That's
He
right.
knew, and he's weaponizing what this girl had instead of, if he did not. Let's say, for instance, he did not do this. Well, why is it? And I asked him the same question. Why is it, with you being her father, that you didn't try to find out who did this to her in your care? Not
That's
the
right.
mother's care, but your care. Because as you know from documentation, it was a small window of time where this sexual abuse happened to Chantel, and he wasn't in prison. He was
That's
at the
right.
house, and the
That's right.
stepmama wasn't taking the kids back. He had the kids. So who was around these kids if it wasn't you?
Absolutely. Newsom asked, okay, so basically the only thing that you know to be true is what Clarence has told you. The wife said, correct. So she doesn't know from any other source. She only knows what Clarence is telling her. Newsom, okay, reports that I've looked up as far as concerning the uncles and nephew and all of that, all the reports were unfounded. This is Newsom, the detective. There were no findings as far as any abuse at that point. Chantel had a medical in West Palm Beach, I think in 2001. She had a pelvic exam, came back normal, and there were no findings. When she was with her mother, she had no abuse. This is proving that. Now, at that point, CPT had done a medical here, and they had located and or they diagnosed her with an STD. Are you aware of that? And the wife said, yes, ma'am.
When I tell y'all this is so major right here, just this one paragraph alone, I'd have shut down everything.
It's a shutdown.
This is so. Mm.
That's a nail in the coffin right there. That
And
detective who's been doing this great work, y'all saw all her documentation. Y'all saw what she did. She didn't talk to the people. She didn't saw the reports herself. She is admitting that there was no evidence of SA before 2001, guys. She had a pelvic exam. So whatever Clarence is saying happened at 4 and whatever, it's not founded.
he lied. He
It's
lied.
unfounded. That's what I'm saying. Me too, Daniel. I feel the same way. What is happening? Why is he not in jail? Let's keep going. So go up a little bit. Okay, Newsom said, okay, do you know how she would have gotten the STD? And she said the only thing I can think of is Clarence had been infected or he did it to her.
You got to say something.
Just, I, listen,
You got to say something.
we all know that there has to be an outbreak during the time, right? Now, at that time, whenever Clarence was examined, no, this particular STD was not found. But You have his wife saying, this is the only thing I can think of. That this had to have come from him. The reason why she thinks that is because he also gave her something. And you can see in her, she has said it multiple times. Hey, I have this. I have this thing. So I,
This this is not only somebody on the outside looking in,
that's
this
right.
somebody on the inside saying,
That's right.
the only thing I can think of is it had to be Clarence who did this to her.
That's right.
Not the uncle, not no prostitution, which was all unfounded, but Clarence. She is on the inside with these children day in and day out. And the only time she's not there is when some form of abuse is happening to her and she trying to get out of Dodge.
She's letting them know who it is, what happened, and what she believes as a wife. What she believes as a wife.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. The wife. He won't tell me honestly. He will not tell me. He tells me because the fact that we went to the hospital one time, he was really messed up down there. The doctor kept stressing blank, 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 blank. The doctor's telling him, you have a STD, you have a STD. And he kept getting me very upset. And I had to walk out of the room. The doctor will talk to him in the room. And when I came back, Clarence was telling me, he doesn't understand why he keeps stressing STD. In all reality, that's what it did look like. And I didn't know that that's what it looked like until after I started getting breakouts. Newsome, oh, so you have breakouts now? The wife said, yes, ma'am. Newsome, okay, so now he had them first. The wife said, yes, ma'am. Newsome, and then you got them from him? The wife said, yes, ma'am. Newsome, okay, do you know where he contracted them from? The wife, I have no idea. Clarence has been messing around with everybody. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The one guy, he seen me in the store and just told me my whole life story between me and Clarence. Apparently, he got a divorce from his wife. His wife, and I can tell you her name is Joe Glass. She worked at blah. She worked at blank where blank was attending. And apparently they got a divorce and everything that Clarence would do to me. He went and told the lady, and the lady would go back. I guess they stayed friends. So she would go back and tell him. I mean, it's just, and I'm assuming she's saying he's going back and forth between the two of them. Go down. Newsome. All right. So you have recently gone to the doctor. So is that right? The wife said, yes, ma'am. Newsome. Okay. You were diagnosed with an STD? The wife said, yes, ma'am. Newsome. Okay. Did they say anything to you about the STD that Chantel has? Okay. Keep going. Inaudible. Newsome. So it's just go back up. Go back up. Go back. I mean, go back down. Okay. Is yours just the STD? The wife said, no, just the whatever Clarence had. Newsome, okay, again, you didn't have to have that prior to. And the wife said, no, ma'am. Newsome, I guess going with Clarence to the doctors. And where did he go? Was that Bartow? I'm assuming that's Bartow, right? Or Bartho? I don't know.
Bottom.
Bartow Memorial Hospital. I'm gonna say it the West where I can. Newsome. Okay, now we have talked with a Chantel. Any more about these things that her dad has done? The wife said, I just asked her from time to time again, Chantel, are you sure your father? He has done these things to you. And she still repeated and to this day would say yes. Newsome, okay. Have you talked to Clarence and asked him? The wife said, no, all I told him was that, I really don't know what to think. At one time I felt as though, okay, maybe Chantel was lying because Chantel can lie. And I mean, she will sit in your face and tell you that the cup is blue and it's black. She will. She said she is a very good liar for an 8-year-old. Newsome, but you're saying she has been consistent with this story. And the wife said, right. Newsom said, and you've asked her multiple times. And the wife said, very repeatedly, yes. Newsom, and she said, and the wife, she's still, Newsom, she's still sticking with that. The wife said, sticking with that. And one thing about Chantel is that if she was lying, she would, can you go down? Go down a little bit. I mean, or go up so I can see the rest. Okay. One thing about Chantel that is that if she was lying, she wouldn't still be saying the same thing. She would have said another lie to cover up the first lie that she made. So this is her stepmom who knows her, who's saying, listen, if she was lying, this story would not be consistent. There y'all go. Newsom. But she's been consistent with the story and telling you that no, this happened. And the wife said, yes, ma'am. Newsom. Was there a conversation, I guess, with Chantel and her dad where you put them on the phone? Which I don't agree with, but go ahead. The wife said, yes, ma'am.
Wait,
When,
wait, stop.
go ahead.
Tell him why you don't agree with it.
Because if there's an active investigation and you know that this person has abused a person, I don't agree that you should put them in contact with someone that abused them. I think this was abuse. I think this was egregious. I don't think this was okay. It seemed like it was kind of overlooked, like, oh, yeah, you talked to your father, but she should not have been talking to him because there was an active case that was under investigation. And it just seemed like an attempt to manipulate her and change the narrative. That's my opinion about that.
I totally agree with what you're saying. Totally.
Yes. The wife said, yes, ma'am. When I first had Chantel, because when I first asked Chantel, she told me nothing had happened. But I seen it in her eyes that she was lying to me. And I brought into the
Mm.
room and I told him, I said, blank, you told me what Chantel told you guys. And when he told me, then that's when she came out with the truth. So I was already expecting a phone call from Clarence that's in jail. I'm sorry, Clarence being the second. I was already expecting a phone call from him. And as soon as he called, I told him what Chantel was saying, and she told him. He was like, Chantel. Oh, okay. He was like, Chantel, daddy did not do these things. And he said, she was like, yes, you did. You're lying. Stop lying. You did these things to me. And in a way, I feel maybe she said that because of the fact that I was right in front of her. I was very upset and about the whole situation, and I was telling him how I was going to call it in and everything. But like I said, she's still consistent. She's Newsom. Okay, and again, she's
So
got,
that's
go ahead.
huge.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's huge because that means, wow.
She's telling her
That
father directly, you did this
that
to me.
means before the wife called authorities, she confronted Clarence first before the report was even made.
That's right. She confronted him before she reported it. Yep.
And
And and
allowed
and Chantel is confronting her
her
father.
father,
Wow.
which she had never spoken of prior. And you can't say, oh, Chantel was upset because she wanted to be with her mother. Because some people might say that. Oh, she didn't want to be with her dad. She was upset. She had already been with her dad since she was 5 years old. She was
That's
at
right.
this time 8 years old. It's been 3 years.
Whew. Newsom. Okay, again, she's got the warts. The wife said, yeah. And
You
he's
said it.
saying that, if she got that, she must have got it when she came to him, once they gave him custody. Newsom. Okay. The
You
wife,
heard that?
once they gave him custody, Newsom said, okay. The wife said, but Newsom, Newsom said she was examined. And then the wife said she was examined, right? So they know she did not have it before she came to him. Newsom, in West Palm Beach, and she didn't have them then. And the wife said, right. Newsom said, okay. The wife said, and now she has a blister on her mouth.
All right now. Here it is.
Remember, the blister on her mouth has never been discussed. She had a blister on her mouth. The mother said she
So
saw it.
let's talk about the sexually transmitted disease that Clarence Freeman has, according to this document. This document says that he has a certain type of sexually transmitted disease, and that will cause sores in and on your mouth. Here is another instance after where the system failed her because they knew there was a discrepancy with Chantel having this particular sexually transmitted disease and Clarence Freeman had this. They were two different ones. But now she and the stepmom is letting the detective know she has a blister in her mouth now. What on her mouth now? There's sores. How come it wasn't cultured? How come there wasn't a test done to see if it was in fact the same sexually transmitted disease that Clarence Freeman had? Because I promise you, what he inboxed me in my Instagram was, I don't have what she had.
That's right.
That's his,
That's what
he
he
said
said.
that on Friday.
Yep. Now, the
But
blisters, it must
but
have not, they must have not been showing at the time of her exam, I'm assuming, right? Because
may
which
not have been.
which I know that that does happen. They go away a little bit quicker sometimes than maybe on your genital area. So she might not have been showing that, but the mother knew that she had them. I would have got those examined immediately. If my
The
child has bumps,
stepmom,
the
stepmom.
stepmom.
Remember the
Yeah, I'm sorry.
stepmom.
I'll say stepmom because she had custody of her, but I do know that that was her stepmom. I'm sorry about that. The stepmom noticed that she had those bumps. That should have been examined. What
A
is this?
blister. She say bump.
Blisters. I'm sorry,
Let's say if it
blisters.
was one blister, a blister.
Yeah, she has a blister on her mouth. Come on now. That should have been examined.
I'm
And that's
sorry, Tawana. I'm going off in a
that's
tangent.
crazy. Newsom. Okay. So as far as there's a more recent allegation made, I guess. Clarence, your husband in jail, had spoken with his attorney and called in a report, I guess, saying that the son had tried to have sex with you. And I know that you had explained to me as more of a he was asleep in your bed and the other kids were there also. And the wife said yes. Newsom said, and you were asleep and he was asleep and you kind of felt something. You wake up basically from what you're describing is he had a wet dream. And the wife said, yes. Newsom said, and what do you do? What did you do as a result of that? The wife said, as far as punishment, Newsom said, right. She said, well, I made him write 1,500 times. I will not perform sexual anymore. Newsom said, okay, do you think he knew he was doing or what? I mean, he was awake or he was asleep. And the wife said, I don't think I believe that he was asleep.
Now, in my opinion, this is in my opinion. Don't form your opinion behind mine. But in my opinion, what I see from this, with Clarence making phone calls to his attorney and trying to make accusation, I believe he's trying to get back at the wife because she made a call on him. Because trust me, I'm not gonna say that, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, it's just so many allegations going back and forth. You can see that, right? And then go down. Newsom said, okay. And the wife said, because he woke up surprised. Newsom said, okay. Has he done anything like that before? And the wife said, no, ma'am. Newsom said, okay, I guess there again, this new allegation about him and Chantel performing oral and having in a bedroom behind a closed door. Did you? The wife said, I told him that the door was closed. Blank was looking for, and now no, Blank was in the room playing his sis PlayStation, and I went looking for them because I was wondering where they were because everybody was quiet and usually I can hear them talking. So the door was closed, but the TV was on, and they were sitting on Chantel's bed, and Chantel's bed is at the top bunk, and blank sleeps on the bottom. Both of them were on the top bunk. That did put me in, suspicion, but I didn't know what to think at the time. Newsom said, okay, so you didn't know. And she said, no, I didn't know. Newsom, did you ask them what they were doing? The wife said, yes, ma'am. Newsom, and what did they say? The wife said they were just watching TV. Newsom, okay, I guess. And again, both Chantel and blank were interviewed as CPT. And again, all of that was explained and was cleared up. Do you know if any other of the other kids have any of the STD or anything of that? It's just you and Clarence. The wife said, it's just me, Chantel, and Clarence. Newsom.
So,
And the right,
so,
go ahead.
well, no, I'm not
Right.
going to bring that out.
Newsom. And then and the dad. Okay. And again, as far as you talking with Clarence on the phone in jail, he you said he's denied this to you. The wife said, yes, ma'am. Newsom. Okay. Has he shared any of the concerns with you about that or asked you to say anything? Or the wife said, oh yeah, he tells me, asked me to vouch for him that, I don't believe that he's done this. In all reality, I really don't know. So I can't say that he did or he didn't. But after these new allegations, he has not called anymore. And he knows that I will not accept any more of his phone calls. Newsom, why do you think he made those last allegations?
You see, there it is.
The wife said, well, because, there might be two reasons: to take the blame off him, and for the first one about Chantel, and secondly, because I told him that I have a boyfriend. In all reality, I don't know. I just want him off my back. Newsom, okay, so he didn't take the news too well. The wife said, no. Newsom, okay, Detective Dias, did you have any questions? And Dias said, no. Newsom, okay, let me just kind of go down a list. I have made some notes and I wanted to make sure I covered everything. And the wife said, that's fine. Dias, did you have any medical records from Bartow Memorial? Or Newsom said, yes. Dias said, okay, so there's allegations you didn't ever know any of Clarence ever. You didn't ever know of any of Clarence ever getting his blank caught in a zipper. The wife said, that's when we were at the hospital. Dia said, did he really get his penis caught in the zipper? And she said, well, there was an abrasion. Dia said, but the wife said, but if you look around it, it was like little blisters. Dia says, uh-huh. The wife said, around it. Dias said, and that's when they found out and determined that he had the STD. The wife said, well, like I said, he wouldn't tell me. The doctor kept stressing that it was a STD. Dias, huh. And then the wife said, yeah, there was an abrasion, but the doctor kept stressing it was an STD. Dias, okay. And then the wife said, and so when he went to go get his medical records, he went and he called me and told me that, that they were inconclusive, when I know that he was lying.
Here's
That
another known instance of someone telling a lie.
he's lying. Dia said,
Because,
okay.
uh-uh,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
uh-uh,
The
uh-uh.
wife said, I know he was lying. Dia said, so the actual trip to the hospital was because and the wife said, right. Dias had the abrasion. The wife said, right. Dias from getting his penis in the zipper. The wife said he was in so much pain. He was in so much pain. Newsom, did you see him get it caught in the zipper, or is that what he told you? The wife said, no, that's what he told me. And that's what he told me. Newsom, then the blank where Clarence was staying, and you said he had an air mattress downstairs, and that there was I guess like the kitchen area and a half bath. The wife said, yeah. Uh-huh. I guess. Newsom said, "Do you recall if he had a clock in there in the room?" The wife said, "Yeah, he did." Newsom said, "Okay, do you remember where the clock was located?" The wife said, and sometimes he would put it on the well. Most of the time, it was on the ironing board. I'm assuming that's supposed to be wall.
Wow.
Newsom, do you remember if he had like the number or was it digital? The wife said it was digital. Newsom, or did it light up? The wife said, "Yes, ma'am." So the detective's asking her these questions for a reason. Newsom, okay, and as far as you and Clarence, if y'all's sexual behavior, did you use a lubricant when y'all would have sex? The wife said, "Yes, most times." Newsom, okay. Was there, do you remember what the name of it was or anything? The wife said, "Well, one time we bought lubricant like twice. And one time we bought KY jelly. And the other time we bought this stuff that you buy like at a sex store called Wets." Newsome. Okay. When when would you uh describe that as far as what it feels like? The wife said it's really wet, and Newsom said sticky or slimy. The wife said, "Well, yeah, in a way it is." Newsom said, "Okay." And as far as oral sex with y'all, did you and Clarence and do y'all engage in oral sexual relations? The wife says, "To be honest with you and Clarence, really, what to be honest with you, Clarence really wanted it. I really didn't care for it. At that, how I got the STD in my mouth, because if you could see, I have a blister." Ooh, Newsome, and you're showing me a blister on your bottom lower lip. The wife said, "Yes, ma'am."
So I want to bring out two things. The first thing I want to bring out is the wet is wet and slimy feel, because if you can jog your memory back to when Chantel was giving her, when she was telling the detective about what it felt like, she used those words. It was wet and slimy. She didn't know it was
She didn't
allegedly
know it was
KY
a
jelly. She
lubricant.
didn't know that,
She
but
didn't know
she
what
knew
it
what it
was.
felt like. Also, with the wife at the time talking about oral sex and how he wanted it, but she didn't care for it. For those of you all on Kimmy's World who have been watching it, if you jog your memory back to the Surviving Clarence video where I showed the text message between an alleged ex-girlfriend and Clarence, Clarence wanted her to perform oral on him, and she said no. He wanted it, and he wanted it, and he continued to ask her, and she blatantly said no. So you see, that is something that he liked,
Mhm.
allegedly.
It's
And so you
consistent.
can
It's
say,
consistent.
you know, he was asking Chantel allegedly to do the same thing, because that's what Chantel said. He had me to perform oral sex on him.
That's
And here
right.
it is.
That wet feeling that Chantel felt when she was in the restroom, and she said that, that's key, because no 8-year-old child would recall something like that. And then later, the detectives are asking the stepmom a totally just asking her to recount everything, and now she's saying very similar things. This sounds like someone that is having a relationship with the same person. You can see the similarities in the story. You're comparing notes. That's, if especially if you know a person, if someone is saying things that you know to be true, that's why the stepmom is like, "I believe this happened to her," because she knows what he made her do. Right? And that's an intimate moment that I'm sure she didn't share it with her kids prior to this, you know? We can keep going unless you have something to say, Kim.
And I was going to say something, but we're almost done. So go
We're
ahead.
almost done. Let's get through it. Okay. Newsom said, "Okay." The wife said, "That's how I got that, from when he was infected down there." Newsom said, okay,
But
so
I do
you
have to
actually,
say something right here.
okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's how she got it. That's how she got the blisters on her mouth. How did Chantel get the blister on the outside of her mouth? And
That's exactly how she got
this
it.
this this shows you how bad a person. Oh Lord, this shows you how bad a person wants it because they're doing it while they're infected,
That's
and
right.
they're still allowing someone to do that to them. And God, I'm
Now
sure.
he didn't spread it, right? Okay, let me keep going, y'all. And then it says Newsom says, okay, so you actually seen that there was something there. The wife said, yes, ma'am. Newsom said, and then performed oral sex. And then that's when you got your outbreak. The wife said, yes, ma'am. She saw a bump and she still sucked his thing.
I was
What?
just thinking that,
What is she thinking? And then she saw later
girl.
that she had the girl. It
Chantel was
love
blindfolded.
ain't that damn crazy. Okay, you got a bump, don't touch me. And we need to figure that out. What's
Look,
that?
look. Chantel was blindfolded. She ain't know.
Right, but you fool, you
You
looking
wide
dead at
eyed.
it. You looking dead at it, talking about some yo. What? He'd have had to explain that. Nah, sir. That don't
Oh,
look
this is a great comment. Yes, they all abused her, and then they are all gaslighted and lying on her. All of them. Girl,
right. All of them.
shout out to comment of the day. Someone on the inside is protecting him. I don't think it's no one on the inside protecting him. I just believe in my personal opinion, I believe the system fails so many children. And you got to think, this was 21 years ago, and the
Right.
system is still failing kids today.
That's right.
And we're in 2024, and kids are still being failed. I just covered a story 2 weeks ago about a baby having HIV, and the mama don't have it, and the baby is almost 2 years old. How did this baby get HIV?
Poor baby.
The
Poor
system
baby.
is still failing these children.
They need to figure out who is messing with that baby. But anyway, oh God,
I'm
that's
sorry.
that's
I
heavy.
just I hate
Oh, that's
kids.
heavy, Kim.
She
That's
hates
heavy.
pedophiles, and I hate kids being abused. I
Listen, me
hate
too.
it.
No, I can't stand that either. I can't even watch stuff. I can't. Um, the the wife said, yes, ma'am. Newsom said, okay. Uh, the wife said, yeah. Newsom said, go ahead. The wife said, but as far as the oral sex, Clarence did hunger for it, as I can say, but at times I would do it for him, but sometimes I wouldn't do it for him, but sometimes I would. Newsom said, okay. When he would want you to do that, how would you go about? Did you ask or did you do it? Did he say would let you do it? Or I mean, how would he indicate that that's what he wanted? The wife says sometimes, well, sometimes I would volunteer. It's just because Newsom, whatever it was said was inaudible, they couldn't detect
You
it.
know, it's so funny because I had so many people in my comment area when I was doing Savannah and Clarence, and I was dropping the receipts, the text messages between an alleged ex-girlfriend who did not know this document existed, didn't even know who the ex-wife was, because this was all the way in Florida when this occurred.
That's right.
This is a whole different state where this other person resides. And she is saying almost the exact same, like he wanted it. And you could read it for yourself in the text messages. He was like, well, if you ain't going to do this and this.
He's got a pattern. He's got a pattern that we are able to demonstrate, right? The wife said, right. But sometimes would ask me, why don't you come over here and serve me up? And or, and Newsom said, did you ever use the words let you, like let you suck his, or like let you put it your mouth on his? And the wife said, no, ma'am. Newsom. Okay. Did he ever, as far as when you were having the oral sexual relations, what would he do with his hands? And then go down. His hands? Newsom, uh-huh. The wife said, well, there was different positions, but sometimes when I would push him off, he would just be like, you take this. And Newsom said, did he ever like put his hands on your head? She's like, well, yeah. Newsom said, okay, go down. The wife said, rub it and massage it. Yeah. Newsom said, rub it or push it, like, up and down, like a motion to go faster. The wife said, as far as for oral sex, Newsom said, yes. Go ahead.
You're
Yeah.
not gonna elaborate?
As far as for the oral sex. Oh, you talking about me giving my opinion? I was
So
trying to get through it, girl. I'm trying to read it, but go ahead. Because
So the reason why
go
he
ahead.
is asking her this is because not the same question. Chantel said
Yeah,
that in her initial statement to the detective that he will push her head up and down to make her go faster. And
that's right.
so the detective can see if Chantel's lying or she's telling the truth. He asks her the same question, and it is the same.
He's doing the exact same thing to her. It's I think the detective is trying to make sure she establishes his pattern. The wife says, "Yes, ma'am, Newsom." Okay, do you
Um,
know go ahead.
to answer her question, this will be no,
No.
not this particular one. No.
This is not the one who claims she don't know nothing. Anyway, Newsom. Okay, do you know if Chantel's ever seen him naked? The wife said no, he wouldn't even walk around in the house without a shirt. Newsom said, okay. The wife said sometimes he would, but underwear, I think it mean put underwear or anything like that. He wouldn't not around Chantel. Newsom. Okay. As far as your sexual relations with the oral thing, did you as a routine clean yourself before or after or both? The wife said after. Newsom said afterwards. And what would that consist of? I mean, you mentioned toothpaste. The wife said we would. Newsom earlier. The wife said, well, I've never ever I've ne- well, I've he's never
You want me to
told.
read it?
I mean, it's just written in proper English. Well,
Because I know you're tired.
I mean, you can, I'll finish this statement. Well, he's never told me to do anything like that. The only reason I've heard him tell the kids put toothpaste in your mouth or go wash your mouth out with toothpaste, that's right. There is just that. That's one of the reasons why I believe that he did what he did, but I've never done that. What we do is, well, what we did, I'm sorry, we would go, we would get a rag with some hot water, and put soap on it and clean down there. Or we would go in the showers. Most people do that. Go.
So the reason why, again, the detective is trying to correlate because Chantel mentioned to the detective before her dad would make her,
Yeah.
do whatever, she would have to take a shower first. And then afterwards, she would have to take a shower. And then also, after she performed oral on him, she would have to use toothpaste in her mouth, brush her teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So Newsom, okay, now Chantel, did she say, have a I guess a problem as far as I know she said that she had he checked her down there. Oh, this is off.
Yeah.
She said, yes, ma'am. Newsom said, well, okay. What was he checking for now? Listen to this, y'all. She said, oh, to see if for any redness or, she been doing, has she been doing anything? Because at times she would play with herself down there. Newsom said, okay, did she have a problem with urinating or peeing in her pants? She said, no, ma'am. Newsom said, okay, any hygiene problems? He said, no, ma'am. She said, no, ma'am, other than, well, yeah, hygiene, yeah, she wouldn't clean herself the right way. Newsom said, okay, she have any discharge or anything like that? She said, I've never seen any. Newsom said, okay, has Clarence ever told you that she's had a discharge? She said, he told me on the phone. He said that because when I was telling him about what Chantel was saying, he said that he was checking her down there and she had a discharge on her panties. Newsom said, okay. And she said, and that it smelled really bad. Newsom said, did he ever check her in front of you? She said, no. Newsom said, is this something that, she said, well, Newsom said, you were never there, or she said, there was only one time that he did, and they went into the bathroom, and he would tell her, pull your pants, and he sat on the toilet, and she stood up in front of him, and he looked, but that was just the inaudible. Newsom, okay, and inaudible. She said, and then he will go tell her to go take a shower because she wasn't smelling right or something. Newsom said, okay, were you around when he would do that? She said, that was the only time. He said, okay, were you there when he did that one time? She said, yes, ma'am. The detective said, okay, so why didn't he ask you to do that? She said, I have no idea. So we got to stop right here and talk about this one. So at any point, first let's go back to the Breakbeat interview. Mm-hmm. People always love to say Chantel is lying. Mm-hmm. But Chantel talked about her dad checking her between her legs before he started to have intercourse with her. That's right. In this particular intake or interview with the wife, she spoke about under sworn testimony, honey. She talked about Clarence Freeman taking his daughter between 7 and 8 years old, 7.5 and 8, to the restroom and looking between her legs. That's right. First of all, in my opinion, should no man be checking any girl between their legs, period. And for him to know. That's right. For him to know that it smelled, and you have a woman standing on the outside of the door, why didn't you ask her if you thought there was something going on? Why didn't you ask her, with her being a lady, to check Chantel, not you, because you are a man?
And let me tell you this. He could have taken her to a pediatric, a gynecologist. He could have taken her to a number of places. He could have said, hey, I'm noticing something and I don't want to do this. There's a proper way to investigate something that you think is wrong with your daughter when you're a man. There is some men who have custody of their daughters. And I know that they will go to a medical professional. And you can go to an emergency room. No emergency room can reject a child. You can say, listen, something wrong with my baby. Y'all need to look at her right now. There was a lot of proper ways to handle this situation. And this is why we say that Chantel was failed over and over again, because this should have been, if a man had reported to the stepmom that he smelled a smell, that this happened, the stepmom should have said, let me go get her checked out. Let me go figure this out, because that is not normal for an 8-year-old.
And then another thing, being 8 years old, the only thing you will be able to smell on an 8-year-old who is not sexually active is urine.
That's right.
Or
That's
poop.
all. That's
but it ain't gonna smell foul. It ain't gonna stink that bad.
It ain't gonna be
Let's
nothing.
be clear.
That's right.
My daughter's 24 years old, and trust and believe, I wash laundry, and
Listen.
Children underwear do not smell. They don't smell. They may smell like poop because they done had an accident. But other than that, no ma'am.
And baby, I got 3 daughters, so don't play with me.
Well,
and it was 3 sisters, and I had to wash their clothes. So stop playing with me now. This is not normal what he's saying.
So this is why Tawana and I are being like, this is why both of us are livid, and this is why we can't seem to understand why nobody else can tell this man is telling a flat out lie. So again, make sure y'all share this live video. Get this video out so everybody can see. Because right now we got 17 people on the live. That's not enough people to match 500-some thousand. People need to know, because they are continually she's continually being abused and harassed on social media.
She
I'm
is.
being harassed, but baby, I can handle mine. But Chantel, this is not her fault. It's
Mm-mm.
not. So let's
This
get
is
back to
not.
the document. I'm sorry.
This is so crazy.
Newsom said the blindfold thing she talked about blindfolding is that something that did he ever blindfold you? She said no. Newsom, doing any sexual activity, you ever seen him blindfold the kids? She said one time before when we were living in West Palm, when we first got together, I believe that he had put hot sauce in their mouth, playing with them. And Chantel, for some reason, liked that. Excuse me. And I remember him telling her, her telling him, Daddy, do it again. I like when you blindfold me, but I never heard her say that. Newsom, okay, but she had told you, though, that at one point he had blindfolded her when he would do these things to her. Yes, ma'am. Newsom, is there anything else that you can think of? I know we've covered a lot of things, and I know we've talked, on and off doing this, coordinated interviews and stuff with the kids. But is there anything else that you can think of that's important to you? Think that, I need to know, or, well, basically, like I said, the two main things that really triggered me were the toothpaste being put in the mouth. But one thing is that when he would perform oral sex, or he would go and brush his teeth afterwards, or gargle some mouthwash. Newsom. Okay, that would be if he was performing it on you. Right. Newsom. Okay. And as far as the wet stuff that she told me that seemed kind of strange, because how would an 8-year-old know, about lubricant? Newsom. Right. She said she didn't know exactly what it was, but she said it was some wet stuff. Newsom.
Mm.
Okay. She said, and that is, now that's a lot when you put that lubricant, it allows you, ooh, ooh, when you put that lubricant, it allows you to just slide right in.
Mm.
Newsom.
Mm.
Right.
Mm.
She said it does, you don't really have that much trouble. Ugh. Newsom, right, right. And again, as far as prior sexual abuse of Chantel, the only thing that you know is what Clarence has told you. She
That's
said,
right.
what Clarence exactly? Newsom. Okay, and she's been to the doctors and had checkups before, and that put, as far as through these medicals, there were no prior blank or blank and that sort of thing. No, ma'am. Newsom, that she has, that she now has. She said exactly. Newsom. Okay. And you said that when you were checked, that was in Miami. Well, in Fort Lauderdale, Newsom, in Fort Lauderdale. She said in University Hospital, Newsom. Okay, and you can get me a copy of those records. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Also, too, for clarification, you had told me that you had not been with any other sexual partner since blank father. Exactly. Newsom. Okay. And Niasia is how old? Oh, they put her name here. She
They
said
forgot
she's
to
3.
redact that.
They
They forgot.
they made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Newsom. Okay. So for the last 3 years, she said Clarence was the only one. Newsom, Clarence has been the only person you've been with sexually. She said, yes, ma'am. Newsom, okay, is there anything else, Detective Dias? Dias, uh-uh. Newsom, okay, well, go ahead and conclude the interview, and the time is approximately 9:12 a.m. Type-in time, 8.5 hours, and that concludes this particular document. Now we are gonna have, we're gonna talk about this.
If this this entire thing, what I would like to say is, even from the Tasha K interview, when the father, the stepmom, the brothers were interviewed, No one had documentation. No one. No one supported any allegation with documentation. They were talking from their own personal experiences. They were throwing out all these allegations. And Chantel immediately after started posting receipts. She started posting receipts. Go to her IG page. She was like, no, this was wrong. This was inaccurate. She was always speaking out, putting out information that she did not have to put out. She put out her medical records. She's put out a lie detector test. She's put out text message between her and her brother. She's also has text messages from past people. But when you look at this interview, when you look at this investigation, you see that a lot of the allegations made against Chantel are completely inaccurate and false. And this is based on I'm going to trust an officer and their investigation over the word of a father, a stepmama, a brother, or whoever. I will trust the child advocacy group, the DCF reports. I am not going to value his opinion over what is documented and investigated and has been recorded. Okay. So, what I am concerned about and what does bother me is what happened. Why did this case fall through? It seemed airtight. It seemed like the documentation was there. What happened? And that's what I am committed to finding out. What happened? How did this fall through the cracks? How did he get exonerated? I have no idea, you guys. And I'm sorry to give y'all this cliffhanger because we just don't know. But what I do know is that some of the things that were said, according to this document, is completely false. Completely false, you guys.
So we are going to get into this particular portion right here because I said I had some messages. And this is from Clarence Freeman. This is my inbox right here. You can see it for yourself. This is my inbox. We're gonna talk about it, and you're gonna see how he be lying. So let's talk about it. So I asked him.
You gonna blow him up? Blow him up? Is his name C Priest on
Yes, I
Instagram?
can.
Is
I
his name C Priest on Instagram? He had the
mm-hmm.
nerve to have priest in the name of. Oh my
Girl, I
lord!
can't. I can't blow him up. Let me
You
see.
can't. Okay, that's
Because this is
fine.
the actual message. I didn't do a screenshot.
Okay, no problem. Go ahead and
So
read it.
I'm gonna read them. I said, I have a serious question for you. Do you have blank? I'm not asking to pry or to be funny. It is for a reason. He said, this is the funniest thing ever. The woman who is telling everyone I'm a R asking me a question for the first time after bashing me. I was given a complete medical screen while locked up. After all those crazy claims, medical screens show everything I had and prove I'm not a carrier, nor do I have anything. I have is all what proved me innocent. She gave someone warts, and Teresa, the ex-wife, told it to the police, but the person wasn't me. When I got custody, she already had the disease. Y'all hear this? From her mother allowing men to sleep with her for drugs. Why would I have sex with anyone I know has a disease unprotected? I gave a long list of women's names and info to the police. Every mother of my children, 13 women, all made it clear I never gave them anything. More names of the women I had dealt with for years. You can't find one woman, truthfully, to support this garbage. Not one. We don't need one. We got the documents. You think I would have put myself out there knowing I've given women diseases? I have the court documents. That's what I said. The documents prove she was not touched until the age of 8 and had blank at the age of 8. She was never touched while in her mother's care, according to the court documents. He said, you have the report that matters. And either way, Clarence was clear. So I don't know who this was typing. I said everything about the uncle and the cousin touching her was disproved by the courts. The question is, at 8 years old in your care was when the courts found she had been sexually abused and had a sexually transmitted disease. Very odd. Clarence was clear, proven not to have warts or anything else. It's made clear. You can ask all you want. The point is, I was clear not to have blank, not to have blank or blank. Y'all see that? I was.
The man is
Y'all
saying he
see
don't
that?
have a disease
They
that we
can't see
know.
that. Oh, okay. Blank or blank. In the conversation, that proves I'm not the person who gave it to her. The law ain't lying for me. It will all come out now. Sure will, because we just put it out. That's what you think. You know nothing before that. I said, you do have blank. And so did Teresa, according to the documents. I said, it was said in 2003 you had blank from the ER visit and also from the jail medical records. The documents also stated you examined Chantel instead of letting her stepmom examine between her legs. Again, inappropriate for a father to do so with a girl. According to Tasha K. Teaser, you said she was 4 years old. Chantel, according to the documents, was not touched until the age of 8 in 2003. Inconsistencies on your part. Everything you said about prostitution, the cousin was disproved by the documents. Why would you say that on, I put rhetoric, but that's a typo, Tasha K interview? Those were lies. I have the documents and I've read it from top to bottom to tell the truth, to find the truth, excuse me. The state failed Chantel. She had no prior sexual abuse prior to coming into your care. She did not have blank prior to living with you. What I know about blank, you have to be in an active outbreak to be tested. You were never tested for it, but that doesn't mean you don't have it. With blank, since you have that, you must be in an active outbreak to pass it to another individual. At age 8, Chantel did not have blank. You did. She did have sores in her mouth, according to the documents. She recounted the same thing your ex said about lubricant. How would an 8-year-old know that? The ex-wife even said Chantel lies, but she never wavered from her story, and she believed her. You were a very manipulative man. The law failed her, and in turn, you got away scot-free. He said, well, I'm glad you're not a real SVU detective, laugh out loud. I would be serving life. I'm glad the real professionals did their job. Exceptionally clear. That's what it says. That's a guaranteed innocent man. You, HELL, been on thinking the state of Florida covering up for me. It's very sad. You do know after I was clear, they gave me custody right back. Oh, we're going to talk about that. You're not a facts person. You a read between the line person. Facts are not a concern. You should be talking to the people who was proven or admitted to having SHIT. I was proven after the lie, after the hospital to not have those issues. You hate that. Laugh out loud. You trying your best to clean up the mess you helped create. You better be careful because you will be the next victim. Make her mad and she will do the same thing to you she's done to many. We go to court. I was proven innocent every time based on the facts and concrete proof. That's why I'm free. You getting info from everyone who was proven lied. Now that's a fact. You were proven to have blank. I'm not entertaining you. The state, the police say I'm innocent. You need to let that sink in and stop making a fool of yourself. If anything said was true, just one thing, I will be in prison. And then I showed him the documents where it said that he had X, Y, and Z. He said, no, I wasn't. Reread, love, because the conclusion says I don't and I'm free. The conclusion didn't say that. She didn't have blank. She had blank. And Clarence was proven not to have that. So she got that from the real person. I got proof. I came while locked up after the lie. Wait. I got proof that came while locked up after the lie was told, love. It will all be seen soon. I have the actual documents that I'm still combing through. He said, go ahead. You got a fraction. You can comb through and you know better than the prosecutor. Then I showed the picture. I said, you indeed have blank. He said, you think prostitution didn't verify all that evidence? Oh, prosecution, excuse me. You think your opinion supersedes the evidence and the prosecution? DAMN, all y'all mental. Not my opinion. It's stated you had blank. And so did Teresa. Chantel did not at the age of 8. The only person found innocent is me. And you know something? The professionals don't. You got that read between the lines law degree. I said, actually, it's blank, blank, blank. I said, no, he said that it also states if you keep reading, I don't. It says, what I want to do is reveal, I did say that. I said, what I want to do is reveal this document with the diagnosis. I have integrity. You pissed me off. You must admit the courts failed her because no one tried to find out, not even you, where the blank came from at 8 years old. That infuriates me. She was a child. No one investigated where the blank came from that Chantel had at 8. That's the sad part. He said disease is blank. Who gave her that? Who did that is the person you should find. I need to find the person that did this to Chantel at the age of 8. I can produce 100 women, God, who can prove I never gave them anything from back then to now. Women I slept with for years and they clean, laugh aloud. I said, and then I go back. The tricky part about genital warts is you must be in an active outbreak to pass it. I'm not like most bloggers. I'm not looking for the next viral content. I'm looking for the truth. Chantel has been abused to no end, and that is not fair to her. Your job as her father was to protect her. At 8, she was not protected. You must admit that. He said, you a DAM lie. You one stupid BITCH. You so DAM stupid. I entertain you because I know what you don't and what Chantel don't. So with that, you, Chantel, or Teresa, none of y'all can do nothing to me. I was proven innocent and I was proven not to give her a DAM blank. We done. Man, FUCKU. I'm going to have a field day with you. Now, never contact me again. You bad BITCH. Overturn the judges. It was a few of them. I said, conversation over. I do not tolerate disrespect of any kind. I'm sure my husband would not take too kindly with those words. I'll let my husband deal with you. So,
that man.
I'll say this. Lord, I'm about to let my voice go.
That man is disgusting.
I'm going to say this. I'll say this. What happened to Chantel is unfortunate. These documents that we went over for the past 2 days, these are documents that were the initial beginning of this case. There's a lot of more documents that he's right that we don't have. But you cannot refute medical diagnosis. His medical records, and I'm pretty sure a detective, law enforcement is not going to lie about a medical diagnosis. They're not going to lie about them subpoenaing his medical records from the hospital in Miami, and they're not going to lie about the subpoena that came from the jail. And it was both the same. He had a sexually transmitted disease, but it was not the same as Chantel. He is right. But no one, and I mean no one, investigated further about those blisters on her mouth. Now, I don't know if it happened later on. All I do know is, according to Chantel, she now has that sexually transmitted disease. She has it now. And if he doesn't have it, let him get a test. Because I believe they do have, I don't know if they do it for men, but can't they test for HPV?
Yeah.
Blood?
They can do blood
tests. If he's positive for HPV, there you go. Because HPV causes blank.
Yeah, she was incredibly, I am curious to know what happened in the transcript with this case. I'm curious to know why it never went to trial. I have suspicions based on what Chantel told me, and that was that later she recanted because she was told to, and that she was urged to by family. And I believe that because if they did not have a witness, right, that was like to back up all of the other things that were said. But I don't know. I just don't think that was enough to just throw out the case. Was that okay? She refused to cooperate as a witness. I just don't know. I don't understand why this was not enough to prosecute him, and I need more information. But again, he's lying even to you in that text message
He
thread,
lied to me in the text
in
message,
that thread. He
and
lied
I had
several
to
times.
show it because, like I said, I wasn't gonna reveal it. But baby, when he called me a bitch at the end of that, I said, "Oh man,
All
that's
bets are off
off.
now.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna expose you because you're not gonna do this to me."
right.
Because not only did he do that in a behind the scenes text message, but every woman that disagreed with him on that Tasha K app, he demeaned them, and that's how I found Tawana G, because
Yeah.
he was on there talking to her, and it just
Oh, he said some
insane.
nasty things to me. He called me, definitely. He called me a bitch, and he definitely cursed me out on the live app. And I can't share the text messages because they come from her paid subscription,
Mhm.
you guys. And I don't want her to like shut Kimmy down or shut me down. But I will say that he said some very disgusting things to me. And I was like, this man, that's when I honestly only had said that I wasn't sure that he was telling the truth. That's all I actually said. And he was like, how you gonna believe? He made this whole statement of how I'm gonna believe somebody that ain't got no proof, and he's saying all this stuff and all this. Sir, it's only your verbal like words that I'm listening to. You not showing me no documentation. You haven't shown me one shred of evidence to support anything you said. And now the documentation that I'm reading is
Wow.
completely different. That this is crazy. Yeah,
You
this
know
is
what? I
mm,
think this is an amazing comment. She said that's a big problem in the Black community, hiding this type of abuse and covering up for abusers. Chantel is changing things for her generation.
yes,
And I
that's right.
know, because I know Chantel is watching right now, and I know she's probably bawling her eyes out because I told her the same thing. Like, this happened to you so you can help other people. You don't see it right now, but
But she needs to help him.
she's gonna help so many more people
Yeah,
because so many people don't have a voice.
yeah, yeah,
And it is a parent's, whether it's male or female. Her mother failed her and her father. And I told Chantel the same thing. Both of them failed her. She had no one advocating for her. Her stepmom tried to do the best that she could, but she had to take care of her own.
yeah.
And to close this out, this is a cliffhanger. I found some documents Friday.
Ooh,
She said, ooh. Clarence sued the state of Florida, DCF. He sued them and he won, y'all. And we're gonna leave it like that because we're gonna have a part three.
mm, mm, mm. We're gonna have a part three. See
When I
y'all.
tell you, you think Risa Tisa, that what was that dog? Surviving Legion was something? Now, baby, Surviving Clarence. He is something
Surviving
serious,
clan.
baby.
Who the hell is my father? Who the hell is my father? That's what Chantel need to
Because
say
this
to
is not
Clarence.
right. And I want to, she said, no way, yes way. And I didn't know what the document was. I actually sent it to Chantel and I said, Chantel, what is this? She said, oh my God. And I'm just going to leave it like that. And she told me, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. Are you serious?
I think that I want to say before we end that what God in me 33, can you highlight her comment? He's a master manipulator, she
Yep.
said. I want to say this because you're so right. And what I realized was, and what I think, this is my opinion, is that he made a lot of these allegations with the uncle, with the cousin. He was setting up where he was going to start abusing her, and it was putting enough doubt in the atmosphere where he would not be caught. I think he planned this entire thing. I think he said, let me put this information out there. I agree 100%.
Oh, I
Wait,
don't know that.
the chief of police of West
Oh,
Palm, he's her uncle. Is he? Oh, that's uh, you put that out. Okay. Well, now we know. Now we know. Alex Freeman, he's running for the sheriff. Okay. He is her uncle. That's
What
why.
the freaking crap? Wow.
There it goes.
All right, but mm-mm.
This is why. Yep. Because that's probably a conflict, right? So now that's why he got away with it.
LMF, I don't know who you are, but that's another comment of the day.
I love it. I love it.
Wow. I want to thank each and every one of you all for tuning in for these past, for those of you all who've been rocking with us since yesterday. This has been long. We've been out here almost 3 hours. Yesterday it was 2 hours. That's almost 5 hours.
We working 5 hours for Chantel. We working 5 hours. No, we working 16, 17 hours off the clock. Okay.
Girl. So
Oh
if
my
anybody, and
God.
I'm not asking for cash apps or anything, but I know Tawana G platform is not monetized. If you want to send her a cash app and you are her follower, subscriber, whatever, make sure you get that information from her. The people that know me know me. Just share the video, like my video, comment, just continue to engage. I thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Chantel, for at least sharing this document with us and being so vulnerable, because
Right.
this is major. Like this is hard. And I know these past few days since you received this document, this has been very hard for you. So I appreciate you, Queen. Keep your head up. Do not worry about the naysayers in the back. You do what you're supposed to do and
Yes,
continue to
ma'am.
be that good mother that you are to your daughter. And don't worry about who got something to say. Do you have anything in closing to say, Tawana, before I shut it down?
Please keep sharing with us. Follow me on TikTok. Send me any documentation you have. We will talk about it on any parts, like anything that you guys have, any information. And also I will be live in a few hours. No, I will not be talking about the Chantel Freeman case again. But I will definitely be live in a few hours, y'all. So check me out. But I do thank you guys so much for supporting us, for hanging in there. We read that 56-page document. We read it word for word for you guys. So please let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know how you feel. Let us know what you're thinking. And I'm following the comments, so I'm commenting back. And if you have any other pertinent information, please share. My TikTok is Tawana G12. Please, you can send it there. You can also go to my YouTube channel, and in my video description, I have my information. So it has like all of my my IG, it has my email, it has all my information, you guys.
What's
So
your email, Tawana?
please, it is gems. You know, it's gems, and
It's
then
JMS.
G
I
E
mean
M
G
S
G GMS.
GEMSN, and then Jules Show at gmail.com. At Gmail, yeah. I can put it in the chat too, y'all. I forgot. There you go. That's it. There y'all
I do that
go.
right? Yeah, I did.
Yep, that's it, y'all.
All
Y'all can
right, y'all.
email me anything. We will share it. We will share it.
Y'all have a great rest of you all's afternoon, and thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you. 'Cause you're just that subscribe.